What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
6cc Chapter 117 Luffy realizes the fourth gear ahead of time? Is Ace really going to be rescued? Su Chen, you said you wanted me to let Ace go. In the Den Den Mushi, Sengoku Fleet Admiral's voice was filled with shock. If only the generals and those close to them were qualified to get their own private Den Den Mushi numbers. I'm afraid that Sengoku Fleet Admiral has already identified Su Chen as someone else in disguise, a pirate who wants to rescue Ace. I can't possibly promise you this, Su Chen, no matter what your considerations are. Anyway, I'll give you the pass. Let's meet up in front of the execution platform first. The Marines really need your fighting power right now. Zhang Guo hung up the phone. He looked at the current battlefield. The current situation. Not good for Marine. The three admirals are already ready to take action to stop the Straw Hat Boy from rescuing Luffy. That is this moment. An extremely powerful and murderous aura emerged from the pirate forces, with a buzzing sound. A scarlet light flickers, then came a terrifying slash. It just crosses the sky, directly aimed at the execution platform. The location of 7 warlords of the sea. Hawkeye Hammock's pupils shrank when he saw this. What a powerful sword intent, on this sea. A being that can use such terrifying swordsmanship. No more than 10 people, at the moment. The other party is obviously from the pirate force. Is it red hair? Wrong. The sword intent of red-haired Shanks is invincible and sharp. The feeling of this slashing strike clearly carries the accumulation of years. Next to Hawkeye, Moonlight Moria's expression changed drastically. He stammered, Pluton, Silbaz Rayleigh, Roger's mate. Why is this guy here? Hasn't he disappeared for more than 10 years? Hear what Moria said, the entire 7 warlords of the sea. Everyone was stunned. Pluton Rayleigh, One Piece Roger's vice-captain. He is the man second only to Roger, not inferior to Whitebeard, but a living legend. This kind of existence actually appeared here, and it's obvious that the other party is here to rescue Ace. The terrifying sword intent caused huge damage. Marco and others took action one after another. Even a Marine Vice Admiral level figure was defeated again and again. This is the only trump card Marine can play right now. There are only 2 backups, the top generals and other top warriors, and the pacifists. Straw Hat Boy, among the crowd of pirate forces. Rayleigh had a calm smile. Looking at Luffy, he said, "It seems that you haven't yet grasped the concept of domineering. If you want to save Ace, you can't do it with your current strength." Luffy heard the unfamiliar uncle behind him calling him. I wanted to just ignore him, but the other party talked about saving Ace and launched such a powerful attack. It is obvious that the other party is stronger than himself. Luffy had to stop and listen carefully to what the other party was saying. Heroic. Hancock taught me that before, but it's no use now. Far away, he is a tyrant bear who has been completely deprived of his sanity. After being ordered, he launched an attack directly in the direction of Luffy. At this time Rayleigh stepped forward. He showed it to Luffy. Look, this is how you use your domineering aura. Speech closed. The 2-color domineering aura is integrated on the tip of Pluton Rayleigh's blade. Then there was another slash, with a bang. The meatball energy released by Tyrant Bear. It was directly cut into 2 by the blade. This is not the end. The meatball shockwave didn't even consume much energy from the terrifying sword energy. The sword energy was still rapidly moving towards the execution platform. Tisk, what an old immortal. Are you in a hurry to reincarnate? Dark Hound. On the general's throne, Akainu saw Rayleigh's move. His eyes were gloomy. Choose to fight back with Dark Hound. The terrifying magma exploded in the air. As a result, huge holes appeared on the ground. But fortunately, this terrifying sword attack was finally blocked perfectly. Is this how Haki is used in battle? Integrate the domineering aura into your body. I understand, Uncle, thank you, now I finally understand. The steam from Luffy's body slowly dissipated. Armament Haki begins to gather on the body. His muscles started to swell. The whole person has become abnormally huge and enlarged. If Su Chen were here at this moment, it is definitely recognizable at a glance. Luffy now has already realized the 4th gear mode in advance. The whole body is covered with armed color domineering. Luffy's aura began to surge, even the 3 generals on the platform. Everyone noticed Luffy now. At this moment, Luffy's strength has far exceeded the bounty of 300 million Baileys. At least he has become someone who can stand on equal footing with Marco and others. It's already difficult to fuse armament haki, and if I fuse Conqueror's haki, I can't do it now. Luffy felt the endless power flowing through his body. This is how I evaluated myself. But if I can integrate Conqueror's domineering aura into my body like the uncle, then I can become even stronger. Thank you, uncle, after I rescue Ace, I will come to thank you. Pluden Rayleigh nodded. Looking at the high platform in the distance, he revealed a faint smile. At present, in terms of mid and high-level combat power, it is clear that the pirate forces have an absolute advantage. Although the top combat capability is not as good as Marine. But the absolute powerhouse of Marine has no time to deal with all the pirates on the battlefield. As long as I can be with Ace, then we can definitely save Ace. Go ahead, Ace is just ahead. We will help you clear all obstacles on the road. Luffy held the straw hat tightly on his head. The whole person is as fast as a bullet. Rush towards Ace. Ace, I am coming, Luffy yells. Oh no, that won't do, little ghost. Even if you become stronger, this is still not a battlefield you can reach. The light flickers. Kizaru's figure appeared in front of Luffy out of nowhere. A dazzling lightsaber was pulled out from Kizaru's hands. Sky Cloud Sword. Kizaru is very fast. After pulling out Aim no Kume, he chopped down Luffy directly. Luffy's strength has skyrocketed, it can also perform fourth gear. But it is only at the level of the Emperor's vice president. Right now, he has less than a 10% chance of winning against Kizaru. If I get hit head-on by this Ama Murasaki, it will definitely be a heavy blow. That's when it happened. The space shook violently. The space in front of Kizaru actually began to shatter. Such a weird situation. This forced Kizaru to stop attacking Luffy. The figure retreated violently backwards. He subconsciously looked into the distance. As expected, it's Whitebeard who took action. Straw Hat Boy, charge. Ace depends on you, Whitebeard growled. Holding Kon Yunchi, he finally joined the battlefield. Oops. The Sengoku Fleet Admiral who coordinates everything from above. Seeing Luffy's current situation, I understood it immediately. With the help of many top combat forces, even if I try to stop it now. Ace is also possible. Going to be rescued. Chapter 118. Sengoku fails to kill Ace, Whitebeard declares victory. Can Marine still turn the tables? The three admirals were held back by Pluden Rayleigh and Whitebeard. Garp is now watching Ace being executed, and it is almost impossible to get him to help. And Sengoku Fleet Admiral wants to come to the execution platform to stop Luffy. It will take at least 10 seconds, if there is time. Ace has already escaped. Damn it, Zhang Guo cursed. After confirming that live broadcasts around the world have been shut down. He was directly under the horrified gaze of everyone. It transformed into a giant golden Buddha. The terrifying energy in his hands gathered rapidly. Then it was directly in the direction of Ace. Release the shockwave. Now there is no way to prevent Ace from being rescued. Then kill Ace. This is the best strategy that the warring states can think of now. Although killing Ace in front of Garp was absolutely cruel. But Zhang Guo has no other choice, once Ace is rescued. There are so many strong people protecting us, that would be impossible to get back. It's like a fish entering the sea, a terrifying shockwave appears. Very fast, just released from the clutches of Sengoku Fleet Admiral. Time to blink, he had already arrived in front of Ace. Terrifying energy mixed with the will to destroy. Just looking into his eyes, I felt trembling all over my body. The shockwave continued to expand in front of Ace and Garp. Garp gritted his teeth, looking in the direction of the warring states. His eyes looked angry as if he wanted to eat someone. And Ace. This is because the hope of survival brought by the rescue of Whitebeard, Luffy and others was shattered. Leading to more frustration, he sighed helplessly. Then he closed his eyes, waiting for death to come. But at this time, a blue flame exploded rapidly. It seems like it was expected, just dodge, came in front of Ace. Cry. Like the cry of a phoenix, it's Marco, after defeating a Marine Lieutenant General. Marco is following Whitebeard's orders, circling in the sky. Always ready to support Luffy. Or protect Ace. Now, the opportunity he had been waiting for finally came. The azure feathers are fully spread, it is more than 10 meters in size. Completely blocked the Buddha's shockwave released by Sengoku. With a loud bang, Marco immediately exited the transformed state. He fell in front of Ace and Garp in a mess, extensive burns all over the body. There was hardly any good meat. With a puff, he spat out a large mouthful of blood. The whole person's breath quickly weakened, although Marco is Whitebeard's vice captain. But compared to Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku, still a little bit worse. But it doesn't matter. Marco's plan was never to defeat Sengoku, but rescue Ace, help him to withstand the fatal blow. At this time, blue flames appeared from Marco's wound. This is the ability that the phoenix fruit brings to him. As long as there is breath, then Marco will never die. Now it will still take some time to recover. Only then can they regain their combat capability. But now the situation of the Warring States period has been broken. It's enough. Boy, why do you have to go to this extent? Garp saw Marco fall to the ground, screaming in pain. He couldn't understand it at all. Why? Because we are family. Is there anything wrong with doing everything for my family? Marco spat out blood again. He gave Garp a hard smile. I almost forgot. This is the real thing. Marco took out a bunch of candle keys from his arms. Because I didn't even have the strength to sit up. Marco could only throw it on the ground. The candle key fell to the ground. Garp watched. His expression was solemn. Now he just needs to step on it. Then Ace's hope of survival will be cut off, but will he really do that? I was torn between my conscience and my desires, far away. Ming was knocked away by Plague Queen. The whole group came to the vicinity of Ace's execution platform. He saw the candle key that Marco had thrown on the ground. Ming Jie understood it instantly. What is this key for? The ability of the string fruit is activated. A sharp silk thread. It shot directly towards the key. Just hit. Then this thread will definitely destroy the candle key. End Ace's hope of survival, Rubber Lion Bazooka. Boom. A black lightning appeared, Luffy in Gear 4th mode. With one punch, he knocked away the silk thread shot by Ming Jie. Grandfather, go away, don't stop me from rescuing Ace. Otherwise, I'll beat you up too. Luffy fell to the ground. Yelled at Garp. Straw Hat Boy, quick, the key. Marco coughed and said weakly. The golden Buddha in the distance took a step forward. It directly crossed a distance of several hundred meters. As long as the Warring States takes another step. This is where you can reach the Ace execution platform. Until then, even if it's Ace in 4th gear plus Marco, it is definitely no match for Sengoku Fleet Admiral. Luffy doesn't have much time left to rescue Ace, Straw Hat Boy. You can't do that. Ace will definitely die in our marine headquarters today. The Warring States transformed into a giant golden Buddha. The sound is like a huge bell, echoing throughout the marine headquarters. The terrifying shock-wave energy in his hands gathered again. This time, the charging action is faster. The charging action appeared almost immediately. YF2F. The Buddha's shockwave has already arrived. A violent shockwave hit the entire execution platform. All are illuminated at this moment, turned into snow white. After all, at this terrifying energy comes the moment before destroying the lives of Ace, Luffy and others. Flame appears. The entire execution platform, it all turned into a sea of fire. Zanguo, you can't do it. Ace breaks free from the shackles of sea stone. Because of the days I was arrested. Let Ace's state of mind grow further. It's actually a further improvement in strength. It directly surpassed the average strength of Shichibukai. Reached the level of half-step Emperor Vice. If Ace is given some more time to settle down and practice. Beyond Marco. It's just a matter of time. The terrifying flames danced directly in the air. He actually took most of the damage from the Buddha's shockwave. Luffy reacted quickly. Also threw a punch, offsetting the remaining energy of the shockwave. Want to run? Impossible. Zanguo was obviously anxious. A hint of red appeared on his golden face. A foot dropped from the sky. Finally, Sengoku Fleet Admiral arrived at Ace's execution platform. But it's too late. Luffy, Ace, and Marco, it's already a leap forward. We have arrived within Whitebeard's sphere of influence. Ace escaped. Damn it. How so? I've obviously made enough preparations. Pacifists, destroy them. Aokiji, block the entire sea surface. We must not let these pirates escape, Sengoku Fleet Admiral shouted. And on the ground, Whitebeard laughed when he saw this. Ace was successfully rescued, that being the case. Just prepare to retreat. Aokiji wants to freeze the sea? First ask him if the tremor fruit agrees, Whitebeard also shouted loudly. It almost follows the Warring States period. Guys, prepare to retreat. The pirates heard Whitebeard's retreat signal announcing victory. They all looked happy. This time, they really did rescue Ace at the marine headquarters. Victory. They belonged to the pirates, but at this moment. Just here. With a buzzing sound. An energy that is difficult to describe. It spread directly from the sea surface in the distance. Almost in the blink of an eye, it covers the entire marine headquarters. Whitebeard's expression changed drastically, this feeling. He is so familiar. Seal the area. It was Su Chen who took action. Chapter 119. The situation changes. Akainu sneak attack. Ace Marco collapses. Whitebeard was not the only one whose expression changed drastically. And Marco. Ace. Countless people who have experienced the Impel Down incident and the Banero Island incident. Only those who have personally experienced this terrifying sealed area. Only then will you know. This can seal all devil fruit abilities, as well as domineering abilities. Turn all people in the area into mortals. This kind of effect. What a perversion. Luffy, who just realized the fourth gear. Because it is shrouded by, break all laws, the connection between the domineering aura all over his body and the rubber fruit was cut off. Luffy immediately turned back into an ordinary person. Feel the current state of my body. Luffy exclaimed in shock. What's going on? Why is my rubber ability gone? Where's the armament haki? Not only the armament haki, but even the Conqueror's haki is completely undetectable. Ace, Blue Flame Birdman, do you know what's going on? Marco's mouth twitched slightly, but the current situation is grim. Su Chen's abilities must be explained clearly as soon as possible. He immediately told them what had happened on Banero Island. There are also some things that Su Chen did in the city. All in the shortest possible words. Told Luffy, after hearing what Su Chen had experienced. Luffy's face showed an extremely exaggerated look of shock. What? Marine's new 4th admiral is so amazing. It's so exaggerated that it's unimaginable. He's only in his 20s, not much older than us. By the way, Ace, can Whitebeard beat this guy? I heard Luffy ask. Ace and Marco were silent at the same time. After all, it was Su Chen back then. When in Banero Island, he couldn't even block one attack from Whitebeard. Must rely on constant regeneration ability. Only then could he barely hold back Whitebeard. And when advancing into the city, the strength displayed by Su Chen is already comparable to the terrifying power of Whitebeard. On equal footing, he even surpassed Whitebeard. This is something they are unwilling to admit in their hearts. Center of the battlefield. Whitebeard's face was as gloomy as water. He took a deep breath, then he looked towards the sea in the distance. Su Chen. Why is it that every time, you're at the critical moment? Ruin my good things. It's like this every time. Obviously, everything would be perfect without you. The 3 great disasters sent by Kaido the Beast have now gathered together. Feel this wonderful energy field, led by the Plague Quinn. His face changed. When I was on Ghost Island, he used the observation haki. Have you ever felt this mysterious energy field? Is this Su Chen's ability? If that's the case, doesn't that mean they are the boss? One of the 4 emperors, Kaido, the beast who has occupied Wano country for so many years. He was defeated by Su Chen. After this thought came into my mind. Quinn couldn't help but gasp, hiss hiss hiss. The whole person subconsciously took a step back. Don't underestimate this move, you know, just now when facing Admiral Marine. They had no fear of the 3 major disasters, but at this moment. After realizing that their boss was defeated by Su Chen, Quinn admitted, he was really scared. The man who claimed that even gods could not kill him. The man they tried their best to practice, but could never reach. A dozen days ago, it's just like a puddle of mud. Fall into the seawater of Ghost Island, without their timely rescue. I'm afraid Kaido's life will end here. Next, they have to face it. Is this what it is? Quinn was nervous. Even his hands began to tremble slightly. Next to Whitebeard, Pluden Rayleigh walked over slowly. He always had a relaxed expression. At this moment, he also became solemn. Ever since killing rocks, Pluden Rayleigh hasn't had an expression like this in a long time. Is this what this kid is capable of? Sure enough, I've only been reading about this guy in the newspapers, but it's better to experience him in person. Whitebeard, you and that brat must have fought more than once. Tell me about it. What kind of being is he? Based on Shachi's information alone, Su Chen possesses at least 3 abilities. Thunder and lightning. Seal. Self-healing. No matter which one it is an extremely difficult ability. And I heard that Su Chen was advancing into the city. Also realized Conqueror's domineering. The most important thing is that Su Chen is now emerging. It hasn't been more than 3 months, than the Straw Hat Boy who caused trouble on Judicial Island before. The limelight was more than a little overshadowed. Whitebeard didn't answer Rayleigh. In his eyes, what kind of existence is Su Chen? No time for small talk. It's still most important to rescue Ace first. If you want to get to know this kid, you can come to my boat and chat for as long as you want. Rayleigh nodded. I totally agree with Whitebeard. You're right. Roger's offspring cannot be cut off. That brat made such a big show right from the start. The area released has enveloped the entire Marine headquarters. Isn't he going to appear yet? Really was confused. Suddenly he made a keen discovery. Far away, Akainu is already on the move again. Direction of pursuit. This is where Ace, Marco, and Luffy escaped. Akainu is extremely fast. It's not like the speed of an ordinary person after his hockey and fruit ability are sealed. Moment. Really then understood. What on earth happened? Ace opened his eyes subconsciously. The moment Rayleigh finished speaking. Ace and others' faces changed drastically. It rang in everyone's ears. Dad. Pluden Rayleigh also did not dare to delay and followed closely behind. Directly used his ultimate move Dark Hound, a lava fist several dozen meters long. He is the only one who can use devil fruit powers and hockey, Akainu. Whitebeard. Protect Ace, watching the Dark Hound grow larger in sight. Boom. Ace, run. I have absolutely no idea what to do. Simply don't install it, Akainu who practices absolute justice. It was Whitebeard whose entire upper body was pierced. Although Luffy has a strong fighting talent, this is the first time his abilities have been sealed. Then he ran towards Ace, blast towards Ace, on the battlefield today. The roaring sound instantly resounded throughout the battlefield. Akainu found that his plan of a sneak attack had been exposed. The breath bursts from head to toe, it's so conspicuous. Ace, go to hell. The three of them couldn't help but close their eyes. The terrifying domineering power and magma fruit are displayed. Whitebeard's pupils shrank suddenly. There was a flash of despair in his eyes. Ace Malk is so angry, he shouted loudly, standing in front of them. The sound of violent burning magma. And Ace and Marco. Chapter 120 Whitebeard, Rayleigh, Ace, and Luffy are all dead. Su Chen is killing like crazy. There is no domineering blessing. Whitebeard's upper body. Almost all of them were eaten by Dark Hound. The organs were completely burnt. There is no possibility of survival, ahem, go. Ace, I told you. I will definitely save you from Marine. At this moment, Whitebeard was almost entirely relying on willpower. He though wanted to use the tremor fruit to fight back against Akainu. But because of the seal area, it's totally impossible. Aside, Pluden Rayleigh looked calm, he didn't hesitate at all. Just choose to grab Ace with one hand and Marco with the other. He carried Luffy on his shoulders, even with a load of nearly half a ton. Directly towards the pirate ship in the distance. Run desperately. Whitebeard sensed Rayleigh's movements with his peripheral vision. There was not only a relieved smile on the corner of his mouth. It turns out that the old guy is still reliable. The young people were so frightened by what they saw that they could not walk. Just risk your life. Detain Akainu for a while. This will allow Ace, Marco and others to escape. Anyway, I am already half buried in the ground. This deal is a great bargain. Akainu, you Marines have already shut down the live broadcast, right? Whitebeard gave a forced smile. I wanted to take this opportunity to promote Roger's great secret treasure. It looks like there's no chance. In that case, let me, an old fellow, take over. Do something else. Little ones, Whitebeard roared loudly. He used up all his strength, the entire battlefield. It's so quiet at this moment, only Whitebeard's voice was floating in the air. Run. Run away. As long as you're alive, that's enough. As long as you are alive, you have a chance to find One Piece. I will help you guys to cover your retreat. Akainu looked gloomy. That's a lot of nonsense. Go to hell, big Spitfire. With a bang, Whitebeard's upper body disappeared instantly. This legendary figure has been famous on the sea for half a century. Completely dead at this moment, Dad, Ace collapsed and yelled. If you want Whitebeard to rest in peace, save your energy for me. Escape from Marine headquarters, find the great treasure, and become one piece. Rayleigh moved forward quickly, distance to the seaside. Whitebeard's ship was not far away, after Pluden Rayleigh's special code was sent. A submarine slowly emerged from the sea. It's the Heart Pirates submarine. Pluden Rayleigh is now participating in the Battle of Marineford. How could I not think of a backup plan? Now he takes Ace and others onto the Heart Pirates submarine. Then even if Marine has the ability to reach the sky. Can't find them either, but it was at this moment. A young man who is not very strong, just standing on the coast. Standing there quietly, it seemed like it had been anticipated. Someone will come over usually. This person wears the Marine cloak of justice. Wearing ordinary casual clothes, he looks quite handsome. You can tell at first glance that he looks like Don Hai. The most important thing, this is a handsome young man. There was a faint smile on his face that seemed to be in control of everything. Let Pluden just meet, the whole person stiffened. After a long while, Rayleigh finally smiled bitterly. I really didn't expect that. You're waiting for us here. Su Chen. Although Pluton Rayleigh met Su Chen for the first time. But he watched Su Chen's awarding ceremony in its entirety. Of course I wouldn't mistake the person, and Su Chen who had just completed signing in. He showed no surprise when he was recognized by Pluton. Pluton Rayleigh, Roger's deputy. It is indeed an honor for me to be recognized by you. I have no interest in you. Hand over Ace and Luffy. You can leave now. Su Chen said directly. Hand over Luffy, Ace and others. He could get Rayleigh out of here, but it was obvious that Rayleigh would not agree to Su Chen's request. He himself came for Roger's offspring. If Ace is handed over at this time. What is that? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give you these children. If you want to catch them, you'd better do it yourself. Su Chen felt helpless. Asked again, are you really not going to give it to me? Actually, if you think about it, we are in the same group. As long as you are willing to hand Ace and the others over to me, I can make a promise later. Let Ace and the others appear before you intact. Rayleigh shook her head. Do you think I'll believe your Marine's lies? There's no need to entrust me with this, let's do it. I trust that Ace will be safe if I leave it to you. It is better to trust that you can revive Roger and Whitebeard. Just after saying this, Rayleigh suddenly got shocked. The pupils shrank to the size of pinholes. He looked at Su Chen's hands. That's a beating heart. A living heart. It seems as if it had just been dug out of the body. And in the sky, a faint sound was heard. I heard the echo of exploration bag. Next second, Rayleigh felt a severe dizziness in his body. It was as if the remote control car suddenly ran out of power. Almost fainted. Rayleigh's expression changed. Now he understands. The heart in Su Chen's hand. Whose it is, that's my heart. The heart was taken away. Is it possible for me to survive? Perhaps with the rescue of Luo, the owner of the Operation Fruit. Maybe there is a way out. But the premise, it was Su Chen who was willing to give himself a chance to live. Damn it. I clearly promised Sha-Chi, I returned safely. Have I broken my promise again? Rayleigh staggered. Finally fell down. Lost breath, another living legend on the sea. Fell down, on the seaside. Babo on a submarine floating on the sea. That's the bear. At this moment, he looked at Su Chen with great fear. Just like Su Chen at this moment, Su Chen shook his head. Blood mist filled the sky, already arrived, now is a good day. Su Chen just snapped his fingers, pulled the trigger. Marine's former 3 admirals, that's not necessary. Said lightly, why don't you leave now, after saying that? Less than a minute passed. Once we have wiped out all the pirates at Marine headquarters, we can live broadcast the execution of Ace again. Su Chen, you actually killed Rayleigh. Akainu's eyes were filled with excitement. In the shocked eyes of Akainu and others. Great, you are worthy of being someone I value. Su Chen glanced at him. The Battle of Marineford was a one-sided victory for his Marines. Are you planning to let me capture your heart pirates as well? Just like a monster. It's a good thing that you are here, so you can be considered as witnesses. The pirates are doomed now. Momoshage simply pulled out his pistol. Get into the cabin. Just send them on their way together. Escape from the troubled Marine headquarters. Beppo heard this. Launch the submarine immediately. Looking at Ace and others who had been subdued by Su Chen. Only then did I feel a chill all over my body. 3 gunshots. Bang bang bang. There was also Pluton Rayleigh, who had fallen to the ground, no longer breathing. Aimed at the heads of Ace, Marco and Luffy. Chapter 121. Blackbeard quietly appears. After getting the tremor fruit, he becomes the 4 emperors. Su Chen. You killed them. See the blood mist in front of you. Even the decisive Akainu. All confused, oh shit. Do you know who you just killed? That's the vice captain of One Piece. Ace, Marco and Luffy. Be good. The news about this matter must be kept secret. Otherwise, if Garp finds out, he is so old, it turned out to be a word that would never be repeated. I guess he really won't be able to control himself and will fight to the death with Su Chen. But by then, even if Garp gets angry, Akainu risked his life. Su Chen will also be protected. After all, Su Chen did nothing wrong. Kill the pirates. It's Marine's duty, although many pirates are doing the work of adventurers. But there are more cruel people who burn, kill and rob the common people. It is better to kill the wrong person than to let him go. Even Rayleigh, even Luffy, face Akainu's shock. Su Chen behaved very calmly. Just signed in. Su Chen obtained the 10 days end. Sage art by Li Shangwu. Open black lens bracket. Explore the capsule. Close black lens bracket. Able to break through space directly from illusion. Directly obtain the imagined items. The greatest effect is just like what Su Chen just performed. Just grab the other person's heart, crush it alive. Su Chen, who now owns many sage art objects, in the war at the top. They are already considered the strongest fighting force. If Su Chen signs in for another, immortality, I guess even if Su Chen wanted to die. No one can do anything to him, it's just so perverted. Or to put it another way, Su Chen now, already invincible. Ding ding ding, remind host, your next check-in point has been refreshed. It's about 1,300 meters from your location. The minimap navigation function has been automatically turned on for you. In Su Chen's mind, the system voice sounded immediately. Reminder that the next check-in location is nearby. This surprised Su Chen a little. After all, the check-in location is refreshed. And so fast. This is really the first time. Su Chen immediately started checking the system panel that only he could see. Discover. Hey, it's Blackbeard, the location where the system signed in this time. It was actually near Whitebeard's body. Su Chen understood it instantly. This is Blackbeard preparing to steal the tremor fruit. Before crossing, Su Chen has watched many bloggers' videos. They analyzed. It is very likely that the devil fruit will be lost after the user dies. It will automatically transfer to nearby fruits such as apples. It's because Blackbeard and Mingo knew this secret. Only Blackbeard can take away the tremor fruit. Only Mingo can find the flame fruit. That's the tremor fruit. Giving it to Blackbeard, wouldn't that be a waste? It is better to be cheap to yourself than to be cheap to Blackbeard. Su Chen thought so in his heart. I also have no intention of having any more nonsense with Akainu. General Akainu, the current situation does not allow us to chat leisurely here. I have something else to do, so I'll take my leave now. Momoshiki will help me take care of things here. After leaving this sentence, Su Chen stepped on the ground. With the help of the terrifying reaction force, towards the location of Whitebeard's body. Sweep away at high speed, at the same time. Blackbeard and his men sneaked into the battlefield stealthily. In the original plot, Blackbeard is one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Of course there is no need to be sneaky, but now Marine has a great general named Su Chen. Naturally, he directly rejected Blackbeard's request for Shichibukai. Instead, he directly gave the other party a large sum of Bailey. Although this is a huge sum of money that is enough to shock anyone. But for Blackbeard, his real goal is the tremor fruit. It's definitely worse than eating shit, they have no official background. Now we can only take advantage of the chaos, sneaking into the battlefield of the war at the top. Be careful, don't get caught, it would be terrible if it attracted the attention of people around us. Everything must wait until the transfer of the Gen fruit is complete and I have successfully swallowed it. Blackbeard and his men quickly moved among the mountains of corpses. Soon, they discovered the destination of this trip. Whitebeard's body. Whitebeard at this moment, although he is already dead. Even the upper body was completely blown to pieces. But he still stood there, no falling backwards, it still gives people a feeling of a majestic god of war. Let Blackbeard and his group who are now sneaking over. I actually felt guilty like a thief, but Blackbeard quickly adjusted his state. He quickly looked at the poisonous cube behind him. Where's the stuff? Give it to me now, we only have a few minutes at most. Marine's attention is now on the escaped Ace and Pluton Rayleigh. When they come to their senses and don't eat the tremor fruit. We can't escape, Du Q hurriedly took out an apple from behind him. At the same time, in order to conceal the truth, he also took out a huge rag. Covering Whitebeard's body, their original intention was to keep a low profile. But I didn't expect that this rag would cover it. On the contrary, on this battlefield, it's so conspicuous. Very good, Blackbeard grabbed the apple that Du Q handed over. He went straight into the rag, come to Whitebeard. Blackbeard was feeling anxious, although he had already tested it in advance. After the devil fruit user is confirmed dead, the fruit will be reborn directly nearby. But who knew the battlefield was so complicated? Does anyone else have an apple? If that's unlucky, there is a faint vibration energy generated. Hurry up, now, let me feel it. After Whitebeard's death, we will become the 4 emperors. It seems that I can already see it, there's a marine coming from a distance. With this old man's perverted devil fruit ability. What are you in such a hurry for? Ha ha ha. No, I want to rule the world. A mutation has occurred. At this time, Blackbeard laughed. This sea can no longer stop our Blackbeard pirates. As Blackbeard laughed, Blackbeard directly stuffed the tremor fruit in his hand into his mouth. Boss, eventually it took the shape of a devil fruit. Complete rocks are great visions that have not been completed. After saying that, reminding Blackbeard to fight quickly and decisively. It turned out that constant changes had begun, around. Ha ha. The storm you will stir up on the sea in the future. It worked. Everything has come to fruition, Fan Oka's voice was heard outside. The Gen fruit I just got is about to fly away. These 7 warlords of the sea are not even worthy of being dogs. That apple looks very ordinary, I Marshal D. teach. While moving the apple towards Whitebeard's body. Blackbeard thought so in his heart. The terrifying power of the old man. Chapter 122 Su Chen thwarts Blackbeard's plan and eats the tremor fruit. Everyone watched Blackbeard put the tremor fruit into his mouth. They all showed a look of envy and greed. Captain is going to be the first person in history. Double fruit. One of them is the powerful old man Whitebeard. Can we now announce that we, the Blackbeard pirates, are the 4 emperors who will succeed Whitebeard after his death? You are such a loser. The captain has greater ambitions. What's the point of just being called 4 emperors? The people were talking about the poison Q non-stop. But at this time, Fan Oka frowned. Why isn't the captain well yet? You only need to take 1 bite of a devil fruit to gain its power. It's been half a minute. The marine in the distance is getting too close to us. We have to go and check out the situation. Fan Oka's words. Even Du Q was stunned. You're right, why hasn't Blackbeard appeared yet? Is there something wrong? He quickly lifted a corner of the rag. Stick your head in. Check out what's going on inside. At this time, the poisonous Q is discovered. Something is wrong. Why Blackbeard today? Or is he still in the same state as when he ate the tremor fruit? Don't move, it's like time has stopped. It's like being possessed by someone. Captain, what's wrong with you? Du Q had never seen such a situation before, so he asked quickly. But their captain Blackbeard did not react at all. Not moving. Da. Footsteps slowly appeared from the side. This caused alarm bells to go off in the hearts of everyone in the Blackbeard pirates. They had just been looking around, the most threatening to them. It's the marine soldier not far away. All that was left around were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. But there is no one else, and the surrounding area within several hundred meters can be seen clearly. Why did footsteps suddenly appear? Someone was sneaking up on them. Fan Oka frowned. He just took out the sniper rifle. Towards the location where the footsteps came from. Pull the trigger. With a bang, bullets whizzing. The piles of corpses turned into bloody mist. The power is really not small. It seems that everyone's domineering power and ability fruits are now sealed. On the contrary, Fan Oka, who uses firearms, has retained the most abilities. No one. What's going on? The footsteps should have been right here. Fan Oka's face changed. He is a seasoned sniper who has fought in many battles. Even without using observation hockey, just by hearing. It is also able to lock onto the opponent's tracks within a few hundred meters. The next moment, crack! A crisp voice came from behind the Blackbeard pirates. It's the sound of biting an apple. Everyone was delighted. Very good. Blackbeard finally got rid of that strange state. Successfully ate the Gen fruit. Their plan to infiltrate the war at the top this time. It's done, but when they looked back, it was discovered. The person who ate the tremor fruit was not their captain. But a man wearing a marine cloak, a handsome young man. Su Chen. Du Q's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. They were extremely shocked by what they saw. The one who ate the tremor fruit was not their captain. Blackbeard is still standing there motionless, the one that eats the tremor fruit. He is the newly promoted Marine Admiral who suppressed the riot and impelled down earlier. Su Chen. Everyone in the poisonous Q group changed their expressions. When the city incident was underway, they are all lurking secretly in the surrounding seas. Originally, he wanted to win over Shiryu, who was pushing forward the castle reign. There are also level 6 prisoners as new partners of the Blackbeard pirates. But because of Su Chen's appearance, the plan failed utterly. At the same time, they are also in corners. Witnessed how powerful Su Chen was at that time. Kill the Red Earl in 1 strike. 2 moves to solve the Golden Lion. Defeat Whitebeard in 3 moves, a legend in the entire ocean. All of them were caused by this terrifying young man. Stepped underfoot. Everyone in the Blackbeard pirates has had this doubt more than once. Is this guy Su Chen really only in his 20s? It's even more terrifying than a monster that's hundreds of years old. When I was in Bonero Island a few months ago, the strength displayed by Su Chen. It's just the level of the Emperor's vice chairman. Although a monster, but he can still be classified as a genius. Now, the entire red soil continent, The most talented young genius is probably not even a hair as good as Su Chen. The contrast is so dramatic. Who can spare 3 months? You can go from being unknown to being unknown, becoming a being that the entire ocean fears? And at the same time, ding ding ding, congratulations host for signing in successfully. You have obtained silence. For this sign in. The next check-in point location has been updated. Host, please check it yourself. Host has completed 8 check-ins and needs 2 more check-ins before the next upgrade. Host, please. After Su Chen ate the junjun fruit, his brows suddenly frowned. What does this smell like? There is absolutely no fruit taste. Not only was it dry, it also had a foul smell of rotten rice. No wonder people say devil fruits taste bad, if it weren't for the tremor fruit. Su Chen really doesn't want to swallow this thing. Just after Su Chen swallowed the junjun fruit, an extremely powerful energy quickly appeared in Su Chen's body. It was like a ferocious beast from the ancient wild world, crashing through Su Chen's limbs and bones, almost in the blink of an eye. Open black lens bracket Tian Xing Jian close black lens bracket starts on its own, to carry out your original plan. Begins to repair damage to the body on its own. Raise your right hand slightly. I guess Su Chen himself isn't sure he can stop it. Deepen his eyes. Wait until there is no one around. Everyone was a little surprised, but Su Chen really didn't dare not kill him. And this time Luffy was killed by himself. I had so many thoughts in my mind. He revealed a faint smile. It turns out that we must quickly end the chaos of the war at the top. Su Chen felt this situation. A flash of deep resentment flashed across his face. Aside, just this junjun fruit. If this kid awakens to the 5th gear. Blackbeard didn't move. The blood vessels in the body began to show signs of collapse. Actually, Su Chen himself didn't expect this. These were originally part of Su Chen's plan to resurrect using eternal life. In reality, only a few seconds had passed. Whitebeard, Rayleigh, Ace, Marco. It is better to resurrect afterwards. Su Chen looked at the shocked eyes of the Blackbeard pirates who were about to collapse. Better to take advantage of his illness. Whitebeard is indeed the most powerful man in the world. Kill him. It was the vibration ability of the tremor fruit that Su Chen had taken. A terrifying vibration energy gathered in it, the words of Nika the sun god. It is not something that ordinary people can enjoy. But he can use his peripheral vision to see the current situation. He saw Su Chen taking away the junjun fruit that he had always dreamed of. Chapter 123. The end of the sea domination. There is still thunder, 8 trigrams and Emperor sword, how can Marine resist? Boom 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 boom. Terrifying vibration energy burst out in space. Cracks like those on a broken mirror quickly appeared in front of Blackbeard and his men. I didn't capture you and bring you into Impel Down before. It was indeed my mistake. Now is the time for me to make up for it, but Impel Down is still under repair. So I'm sorry to bother you to go to hell. Su Chen still had a smile on his face. But speak out the words. But it frightened everyone in the Blackbeard pirates. Su Chen wants to kill them. Duck suddenly reacted at this time. He exclaimed loudly. Aren't you a user of the silence fruit? Why can you use 2 devil fruits at the same time? In this world, Blackbeard should be the only one who possesses this special ability. Su Chen's expression remained unchanged. The vibration energy in his hand became stronger again. Don't ask, the question is about the effect of awakening the fruit ability. Su Chen finished speaking. A thought came to my mind. Heart-stealing effect is activated. Everyone present. They all became Su Chen's puppets. There can be no more unnecessary actions. I can only watch. The vibrating energy in Su Chen's hands. It was growing bigger before their eyes. Final. A violent space vibration of several hundred meters in size appeared on the battlefield. This sudden change. It immediately attracted everyone's attention. The entire battlefield was covered by Su Chen's break all laws. Unless they get Su Chen's permission. Otherwise, everyone would just become ordinary people. Even hockey can't be used. But now, an explosion that looks like a devil fruit ability appeared in the center of the battlefield. How can this not be shocking? Is there anyone who can break through Su Chen's field of silence? Or, this is something Su Chen allows. Corner of the battlefield. Momoshiki Gion had just completed the task assigned to her by Su Chen. This terrifying space vibration appeared in the distance. On her fair face, there was a flash of surprise. This feeling of energy, Momoshiki is so familiar. It's Whitebeard's tremor fruit ability. How come? Isn't Whitebeard dead? Why does the ability of the tremor fruit appear? On the high platform, the Sengoku Fleet Admiral who has already exited from the Buddha state. It was also bloodshot. How could it be? Space vibration. It can even tear apart space. You can't be wrong, this is Whitebeard's ability. Didn't his upper body get blown off? Why can I still use this ability? Is it possible that he faked his death? Damn it, send someone to check on Whitebeard's body? If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his body. Zhan Guo's eyes were solemn. He had received the news reported by Akainu. Learned that Su Chen had already killed Ace and others. Even Pluton Rayleigh has been killed. If Whitebeard hadn't died. Got the news. I will definitely choose to fight to the death. Now a large number of Marines have already gone deep into the place where the pirates once landed. In that case, I'm afraid even if there are more than 100,000 casualties, we can't stop them. Sengoku Fleet Admiral would definitely not want to see this situation. Sengoku, maybe not Whitebeard. Aside, Granny Crane analyzed calmly. Just now I was able to use my observation hockey. It should be the work of that kid Su Chen. I can feel it throughout the Marine headquarters. They all don't have the scent of Whitebeard. This space is vibrating. It is very likely that someone else released it. After hearing Granny He's analysis, Zhan Guo's expression eased a lot. It's okay if Whitebeard doesn't revive, but it happened at this time. On Grandma He's originally calm face, it became extremely terrifying. What's wrong, Crane? You wouldn't show that expression for no reason. What happened? The next moment, the observation hockey of the Warring States period. It is also about capturing something that exists. His expression suddenly froze. Subconsciously, I looked up into the sky. There, extremely tiny, there's a red light, under the cover of clouds. Ordinary people simply cannot discover it, but it was just a tiny red light. But it made Zhan Guo's face change drastically. He simply grabbed the Den Den Mushi in front of him. Yelled, "Quick, everyone leave the battle square immediately. Retreat as quickly as possible." Just after Sengoku Fleet Admiral finished speaking. Above the sky, an old lady's voice, resounding throughout the clouds. At this moment, covering the entire battlefield of the war at the top. Ha 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 ha, Whitebeard, we are here to support you. It was a sound so sharp that it made people uncomfortable. Someone with relevant knowledge, their faces all change. It's the woman who is one of the 4 emperors, that crazy woman. After this voice appeared, most of the ordinary soldiers saw the huge falling meteor in the sky. Received the highest instructions from the Warring States period. They quickly fled in all directions, but it's too late after all. The battle preparation square is not small, including the sea surface frozen by Aokiji. The diameter of this battlefield is at least 10 kilometers. Dark Hound, Ice Age, Yasukani no Magatama. Marines' original 3 admirals. The 3 saw a huge meteorite falling from the sky. In order to prevent huge damage to the Marines, they all took action together. It's no use, boys, above the sky. That terrifying meteorite actually unfolded directly. Revealing its true form. It turned out to be Big Mom and Kaido, 2 of the 4 emperors. They actually used this method, rushed directly to the battlefield. I have long experienced Su Chen's strange abilities. Kaido directly chose to be outside the realm of breaking all laws. Use great power. Destroy the Marine. Bahai, Charlotte Linlin and Kaido are in the sky. Performed a charging move. The terrifying wool of destruction burst out in the air. Everyone on the entire ground. Everyone felt a shudder. Boom 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 boom. A terrifying shockwave. Destroy everything in front of you. The 2 killer moves, Yasukani no Magatama and Ice Age, are both large-scale skills. Compared with Big Mom and Kaido's combined skill, Sea Domination. There is still too much difference, only Dark Hound. Hold on a little longer. But in the end, it did not completely neutralize the Sea Domination. Everyone looked desperate. Akainu was upset. If only Su Chen had his enhanced ability at this time. It definitely shouldn't end up like this, damn it. Why are they a few old guys, at this time? Or will he subconsciously rely on Su Chen? Critical moment. A huge golden Buddha rises from the ground. Extremely majestic. Buddha's shockwave is released. It was like a nuclear bomb exploding in the air. The entire grounds of the Marine headquarters. Everything started to break apart. A large amount of seawater began to surge into the square. But in the end, Bahai still managed to withstand this move. It's a close call. Sengoku, who had transformed into a giant golden Buddha, was breathing heavily. Transform into the Buddha form multiple times in a short period of time. As he is getting older, he feels a little overwhelmed. But what I didn't expect was, after the sea tyranny was resolved, Kaido in the sky laughed. He swallowed a mouthful of wine. The terrifying aura surged again. At this moment, he has not yet entered Su Chen's, breaking all laws, realm. Thunder. Ming. 8. Trigrams. The auntie next to her also showed a terrifying smile. Emperor's Sword. Die. Marines. Chapter 124. Big Mom Kaido is unstoppable. Red hair appears. Garp is determined to die? A terrifying aura descended from the sky. These are 2-4 emperors. They were like demons descending, emitting a suffocating pressure. Their lifelong skills surged out like a raging wave, carrying with them endless destructive power. This blow seemed to tear the whole world apart. The Marines' faces turned pale, and they felt unprecedented despair. Faced with such a powerful attack, even the Sengoku fleet admiral and the original 3 generals had no choice but to retreat and did not dare to resist at all. Their hearts were filled with fear and helplessness, as if they had seen their own end. In the face of this terrifying aura, everything seemed so small and fragile. The Marines' courage and faith were instantly crushed, and their eyes were filled with despair and confusion. They didn't know how to deal with such an attack, nor did they know whether they could survive. At this moment, they truly felt the approach of death, and this feeling plunged their hearts into endless darkness. In the corner of the battlefield, Kobe and Bellambear felt this destructive energy. Their faces all changed drastically. On weekdays, he received hellish training from Garp. 2 people who think they are much stronger than ordinary colonels. My legs are weak at this moment, in front of a truly strong person. Their practice. Just like a joke. What's the point of practicing day and night and working dozens or hundreds of times harder than ordinary people? Under the attack of thundering 8 trigrams and Emperor's Sword. If no one stops it, I'm afraid there are only a few surviving soldiers in the entire Marine headquarters. Only 1 out of 10 survives, not even 1 in 100 remains. What should I do? Why hasn't Master Garp appeared yet to save us? Why are all the Marines losing their energy? Go and hold off the attacks from the 2-4 emperors. Bellamere screams in despair, although at this moment, Belmere is like a clown. But he finally spoke out what many Marines present were thinking. Many attacks from pirates before. Although it's scary, it's still acceptable. As long as the weak ones stay far enough away, it means you can avoid being affected. But now it's different. The ultimate moves released by the 2 Sea Kings, Charlotte Linlin and Kaido. This is a move that can cover the entire Marine headquarters battle square. Even if ordinary people like them run far away, before the attack arrives. Head to the rear to hide, or go into the bomb shelter below? The answer is no, in the face of truly destructive power. Any resistance is futile, weak, in front of an absolutely strong person. The only outcome is waiting for death. How could it be? Why is this the result? I won't give up. I haven't fulfilled my promise to Luffy yet. He hasn't become One Piece yet, and I haven't become a Marine Admiral yet. That's the end. I won't give up. Kirby looked at the sky. Big Mom and Kaido are like a nuclear bomb attack. He used up all his strength. Shout out loud. His voice was not loud though. But it still spread throughout the entire battlefield. Aokiji and Akainu narrowed their eyes slightly. I don't know if I'm unhappy with Kirby. I was really inspired by his words. Even the Warring States period withdrew from the form of the Great Buddha. They all spurted out a mouthful of blood, forcefully activated the Great Buddha form again. It's not for anything else, it is to protect all the Marines present. As long as you can block the attack released by Big Mom Kaido. The 2 of them will fall directly into Su Chen's sealed area. When the time comes, their domineering and fruit abilities were sealed. The lamb to be slaughtered, it's time to decide the winner. What an annoying little devil. Why are you so passionate? This isn't some storybook. Kizaru shook his head helplessly, 1 foot on the ground. The whole person flew up directly, a terrifying beam of energy. It was condensed from his hands. There was actually a faint aura of destruction. 8-foot mirror, Kizaru murmured, immediately. The laser beam in his hand, it's a complete outbreak. Attack towards Kaido and Big Mom. Aokiji looked at Kizaru's back as he flew away. No extra nonsense was said. He took a step forward in silence. Ice tornado. He raised his hands. Use all your strength to activate the devil fruit in your body. Then the air around them dropped dramatically. Everyone felt a chill from the depths of their souls. The storm appears. It only took a few blinks of an eye. It was just a few meters in size from the beginning. It became several dozen meters in size, finally soaring into the sky. It reached several hundred meters. The frozen tornado devours all living things it touches. Countless corpses on the ground turned into ice sculptures. Driven by Aokiji's will, flying rapidly into the air. Aokiji believes it, although this move cannot completely offset Kaido and Big Mom's moves. But it is enough to resolve all the problems. Akainu, who is in the center of the battlefield, has a gloomy face. Of course he knew the consequences of Kaido and Big Mom's attack. After Kizaru and Aokiji released their ultimate moves, his arms turned into terrifying magma, fly to the sky. The dog bites the red lotus, on the battlefield of the entire war at the top. Except Garp. All the top strong ones, they all used their signature skills. Come to resist the despair falling from the sky. God avoids. All possible strength was gathered among the crowd. When attacking the moves falling from the sky, a voice. From the sky above. A sound rang out from the backs of Kaido and Big Mom. The sound is obviously not loud, but it made everyone in Kizaru Akainu change their expressions. It's red hair. Redhead appears, he was wrapped in bandages. It was obvious at first glance that he had suffered serious injuries. But now, he still chose to join the war, relying on Big Mom and Kaido to become a vehicle. Quickly arrived at the battlefield, when the Marine forces thought they were fully capable of resisting the attack. Once again, he released a blow that made everyone despair. The Sea Tyrant has already weakened the top Marines. And the thunderous 8 trigrams plus the Emperor's sword. It was stuck at the critical time when the strong men were out of breath. Marines tried to resist this move. I have tried my best. But this time, red-haired god avoids. This was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back. Garp, hurry up, we can only rely on you now. After Sengoku released the Buddha's shockwave, it is no longer possible to maintain the Buddha form. The whole person lay on the ground helplessly. He shouted towards the direction of Ace's execution platform in the distance. Nowadays, able to resist the divine avoidance, there is only Marine hero. The man who can free the fallen from the sea, Garp for a moment. Under the execution platform, go down to accompany Ace Luffy. Right now. Such a tragic ending, after disappearing completely before my eyes. It seems like a good thing, Ace, but a full second had passed. There was actually a thought of seeking death in my mind. The breath of life of both of them, declared dead. So Garp uses the knowledge of color. Garp had to accept it. There was no movement at all, completely disappeared from the battlefield. Destroy it, quickly. Garp still sat there in a daze. Kaido and Big Mom performed world-destroying moves. Su Chen did not forget to remove the seal of break all laws for Garp. Luffy, there is no point in continuing to fight. Looking at the sky, for a moment, because he was stunned. Why didn't Garp do anything, Ace and his grandson Luffy? At first Garp didn't believe it, just a while ago. There are also Whitebeard Roger's old rivals. This makes him a veteran who has fought on the battlefield for decades. But I saw the life cards of the two people with my own eyes. It was as if he didn't hear the Warring States call. It seems to be destroyed like this. It's very easy to sense. Chapter 125 Su Chen is unwilling to take action. Hundreds of thousands of lives were slaughtered. And Marine headquarters is going to disappear? Garp, now I can only rely on you, use Galaxy Strike now. Zhang Guo felt exhausted all over. Look up at the sky. The attacks they released collided with each other. There was a devastating explosion, then the next second. Kaido, Big Mom, and Red Hair's attacks come one after another. Although it has been weakened a lot, but in the end, he still rushed towards the ordinary soldiers on the battlefield. Although this strength is not enough to kill a quasi-general. Even a Marine lieutenant general would only be seriously injured and on the verge of death. But that makes up the majority of Marine, not these strong ones. Those low-level soldiers are called small fry Marines. Under this level of skill bombardment, the only possible ending is death. Only to be shattered into pieces. Or keep the whole body, there are only two options. This time, Sengoku has drawn elites from various Marine divisions. If they were all dead, for Marine, it's a fatal blow. The strong will become stronger. They can't rely on themselves to suppress pirate riots all over the world. No more bottom-level soldiers. These strong men will become toothless tigers. Being toyed around by the many pirates on the sea. Garp, hurry up. If we don't take action now, Marine will be gone. Akainu shouted, the whole face under the brim of the hat. They are all red and black with excitement, veins popped out on his neck. You can see his excitement, Master Garp, use the seabed drop. Everything can still be salvaged. Aokiji also changed his usual silence. Shouted to Garp on the execution platform. There's no need for that. Garp is no longer in the mood to fight. Get ready to pack up and go home. I guess we can really live out our retirement years in the future. Kizaru put his hands in his pockets. I want to unleash a skill of the level of Yasukami again. But in the end, I couldn't catch my breath. You can only use some skills with less damage again. Getting older. I'm not up to it. Is there any other solution? Garp must have sensed that Luffy and Ace's life force had disappeared. Even if there is a slight possibility, we cannot watch hundreds of thousands of Marines die. Aokiji said with a serious expression. Who else can I rely on? If we launch an attack of the same level again, it will take at least another 7 or 8 seconds. Are we going to let those scumbags from Shichibukai come in? The only one who can resist the divine dodge is probably Hawkeye Hammock. But that guy has always been working without putting in any effort, he won't help Marine. Zan Guo was breathing heavily. Su Chen. We can also ask that kid Su Chen for help. Damn it, I almost forgot. I have always subconsciously thought that it takes a lot of effort for Su Chen to activate the seal field. Sengoku Fleet Admiral snapped back to reality. When Mary Joyas faced the Celestial Dragons. Su Chen used the sealing field at the same time, while using other abilities. And before in front of them, the sealed area covering the entire Marine headquarters was released. Su Chen didn't show any signs of fatigue, enough to prove. Su Chen can release the sealed field at the same time. Use other skills at the same time. In the report, didn't this kid use a lightning ability? It is said that it broke through the foundation of Dressrosa. When advancing into the city, he used this move to instantly kill the Red Earl. Quick, contact this kid. Let him use this move to resist the red-haired man's divine protection. Kaido and Big Mom and Red Hair's joint attack in the sky. There are less than 10 kilometers left to the ground. It will reach the ground in 20 seconds at most. Hurry up, Warring States urges. Aokiji dare not delay. Garp waited passively. Su Chen's current, thunder. He has become everyone's last savior. Beep, beep, beep. Den Den Mushi quick dial. The call was connected. Su Chen's voice appeared. Hello, General Aokiji, what's going on? Hasn't Ace already been executed? Is there anything else I can do? I'm planning to go to the Windmill Village in the East China Sea. Are there any related tasks that allow me to fight a favorable warship recently? Su Chen's voice was calm and lazy. It seemed as if the entire war at the top was over. There was not even a hint of the nervousness and composure of the people of the Warring States period. It's like it's on top of their heads. Without Kaido, Big Mom still has red hair. Just like the hundreds of thousands of Marine soldiers who are ready to destroy the Marine headquarters. Hearing Su Chen's voice, Aokiji's face turned green immediately. Su Chen doesn't care anymore, is he just giving up? After all, the attacks from the sky have been weakened through many rounds. Although the power is very strong, but after all, it is only lethal to strong people below the level of generals. The generals just have to choose to avoid the sharp edge. There won't be any danger to life, at most, it will become a little embarrassing. Marine's global live broadcast has now ended, there's no place to embarrass yourself. This should be what Su Chen is thinking now. Su Chen. I really misjudged you, you're the same person as Borsellino. Do you want to watch hundreds of thousands of lives disappear before your eyes? We have all tried our best. You're the 4th commander of the Marine Corps. Shouldn't we take appropriate actions? Right now, the only thing that can withstand the attack from the sky is your lightning move. Hundreds of thousands of Marine lives are in your hands. Aokiji said excitedly. The corner of Kizaru's mouth twitched slightly. What does it mean to be a person like me? Is there anything wrong with liking to give up? Work hard at work. That's exchanging life for reward. Only when I'm slacking off. That's the real way to make money. Aokiji's voice is heard. Su Chen is on the other end of the phone. Said with some doubt. Take action? Why did you take action? That's not necessary. I can't keep the fact that Ace Luffy was killed from Garp for long. It's really going to disappear. I also want to go to the East China Sea. It's such a critical moment. A cowardly coward, this time. Stop talking about these nonsense. I saw a hint of despair. I'm afraid the Marine headquarters is out of warships for people to use at sea. Fleet Admiral, I would like to apply to go to the Windmill Village in the East China Sea. Please approve it. Zan Guo shook his head helplessly. There was a flash of despair in his eyes. Hear Su Chen's words. Marine headquarters, I'm afraid. Do we have any other options? He was still chatting about this and that. This despicable villain. Aokiji frowned. This kid is stubborn. Is there one piece in the East China Sea? Still thinking about Donghei? Prepare for defense. What to do? Everyone was silent. He was completely disappointed with Su Chen, such a critical moment. They looked at each other. Let's talk about the important things. I can sense from my observation hockey that Sengoku Fleet Admiral is nearby. Fleet Admiral, He doesn't deserve to be a Marine admiral. Said through gritted teeth. It's too late. Kaido's men attacked. All from each other's eyes. Chapter 126. Barumaber. 100 points is just the upper limit of the test paper, not Su Chen's upper limit. How so? Why did it end like this? Everything is clearly already within the plan. Aokiji's eyes were filled with reluctance. Fleet Admiral, can we resist with pacifists? Although it will empty the Marines' coffers, it will at least be better than all the Marines at the bottom dying. Kizaru asked in confusion. Zhang Guo took a deep breath. Don't I want to? The five elders specifically emphasized that pacifists would never allow large-scale destruction. They also said that the pacifists were involved in a huge secret. The Marines were all dead because they were not allowed to cause large-scale damage. Five elders, these damn dragons, Akainu said angrily. If first wasn't Marine, I'd really like to kill these bastards. Center of the battlefield. Momoshage Gion calmly carried out Su Chen's orders. He completely ignored the great terror that was about to come from the sky. Aside, Chaton Kaji is about to PS himself. He quickly trotted to Momoshage's side. Little Gion. Why are you still standing here in a daze? Come with me and hide. If this level of damage is taken head on, even if he's not dying, he'll be missing some limbs. Don't you want to live anymore? Momoshage looked confused. Avoiding what? Chaton was very anxious. Even a fool knows to take shelter when it rains. How could Momoshage not know? I'm afraid it's because I've been with Su Chen for too long. I must have been infected by that dog's stupidity. 4 emperors attack. Without the strength of a general, it is absolutely impossible to withstand an attack of that level. Chaton Kaji hurriedly explained. I was afraid that Momoshage wouldn't understand. Run away with me now. No, it's probably too late to get to the safe area in the back mountains now. Gion, follow me closely and take refuge with the general. Being next to the general, the damage you receive should be the lowest. Chaton Kaji said anxiously. Looking at Momoshage, there was still no action. He was extremely anxious. He was going to grab Momoshage's hand directly. But Momoshage dodged it directly. In the eyes, the look of looking at garbage became more intense. Lieutenant General Chaton, if you have nothing else to do. Just don't bother me, I still have things to do. Chaton was shocked. In this world, is there anything else? Is it more important than escaping, even making a child? Can't we create another one after saving our lives? Gotta do it now. Chaton Kaji saw the attack from the sky getting closer and closer. I was extremely anxious. After making up his mind, he asked Momoshage one last time. Momoshage Gion, the last word, follow me or don't leave. Chaton Kaji almost used up all his strength, said to Momoshage. Facing Chaton's questioning, Momoshage didn't hesitate at all. I refuse. Chaton was helpless. Well, then at least you have to defend with all your strength. Otherwise you'll really be missing limbs. No need, General Su Chen will solve everything. Momoshage refused very straightforwardly. She even directly expressed that she would not put up any defense. The attack from the sky was already at a distance where he had to dodge. Chaton finally had no choice, after taking a glance at Momoshage. He ran alone towards the direction of the Sengoku Fleet Admiral and the 3 former Marine admirals. Corner of the battlefield, next to the frozen corpse. Bellamere slumped to the ground, his face was calm. I have completely accepted the outcome of facing death. Kirby, go ahead. After death, will people be reincarnated, or will they go to heaven or hell? Kirby shook his head. I have no idea, but I really don't want to die. I worked so hard just to fulfill my promise to Mr. Luffy. But now, I can no longer fulfill this promise. If I had a choice, I would like reincarnation. In this way, maybe I can see Mr. Luffy again in my next life. To fulfill our agreement. Bellamere shrugged. That's boring, Kirby. You're about to die, and you're still here talking about your promise to Luffy. I don't know what's so good about that guy. I hope that after death, people can go to heaven or hell. This way, those pirates who burn, kill, and plunder, as well as those Marines who do dirty things behind the scenes, can get the punishment they deserve. When Bellamere said this, Kobe interrupted him directly and forcefully. Stop talking about this, Bellamere, it's all about to end. It's so wonderful to be with you at the last moment of my life. Thank you so much, Bellamere, be my partner. The terrifying destructive force, it has already enveloped the entire Marine headquarters. Even if it is an unintelligent monkey, I also know it clearly. The death date of everyone here. Already here, the countdown of life begins. The last 3 numbers, 3, 2, 1. Bellamere, Kobe, and all the soldiers on the battlefield. At the same time, his brows were furrowed, closed his eyes. Welcome the coming of death, the end of their lives. What's going on? Why am I not dead yet? Bellamur was trembling all over. 3 or 4 seconds had passed. Still nothing happened, only then did he slowly open his eyes. At this time, he looked at the sky in shock. Kirby. Open your eyes, we won't die. The 4 emperors' skills disappeared. It was General Su Chen who protected us, the voice of Bellamur. Kobe subconsciously opened his eyes. The whole sky was a shocking scene. It was immediately reflected in his eyes. All I saw was Big Mom's Emperor Sword. Kaido's thunderous 8 trigrams, red-haired god avoids. Hid in the sky. In that invisible and intangible mysterious energy shield. There was no time to react at all. Their attack. It's like flames meeting snowflakes, completely disappeared. It's as if it never existed. Is this the strength of General Su Chen? I'm afraid Master Garp can't do all this. Kobe looked at everything in front of him in shock. Of course I can't do that, even though Master Garp is amazing. But they certainly can't stop the combined attack of 3-4 emperors. I think you can forget about being a marine admiral. Set your goal to become a strong man like Su Chen. Just like 100 is the upper limit of the test paper, not the upper limit of General Su Chen. Bellamur laughed loudly. The battlefield was originally filled with a tense, solemn, and desperate atmosphere. 9 out of 10 have already dissipated at this moment. Chapter 127. The war on the top is over. The 4 emperors are completely defeated. The country and Wano country merge. I see. Aokiji looked into the sky. A move swallowed by, break all methods. I couldn't help but reveal an expression of sudden enlightenment. He finally understood why Su Chen is unwilling to take action. So it's not necessary? The ability of the sealing fruit is a means to seal all extraordinary things. I just thought Su Chen was a bad guy with corrupt character who completely disregarded the lives of ordinary people. What a shame. I will go to Su Chen's house to apologize later. Aokiji said with a very serious look. Oh, I really underestimated this kid. We worked so hard, but it was all in vain. What did Su Chen say? The clown is actually me. Kizaru put his hands in his pockets, after Aokiji finished speaking. He added in a mean way. Ha 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 ha. This kid Su Chen is the one I like. At that time, I felt that he was definitely not the kind of person Aokiji described. Well, now we old guys have recovered. We can't let Su Chen do everything by himself. It's not over yet. Kaido and his pirates haven't been dealt with yet. Akainu showed a rare smile. Certainly, smiling is uglier than crying. Sengoku Fleet Admiral remained silent for a long time. He looked up at the sky. The thunderous 8 trigrams was already beginning to slowly dissipate. The Emperor's sword also has the effect of divine avoidance. After a long silence, he shouted loudly, "Notify all surviving Marines. Gather at the rear. Prepare for the final work on the battlefield. The war at the top is about to end." The voice of the warring states seemed to be enhanced by domineering power. The sound is very loud. It resounded throughout the entire battlefield. The spirits of all the surviving Marines were lifted, dragging their broken bodies towards the rear of the Marine headquarters. Moving forward quickly, their hearts at this moment. The same sentence appeared all the time. War, it's almost over. The aura coming from Kaido and Red Hair is very weak. After entering Su Chen's sealed area, they can't even exert 1/10 of their strength. The only person we need to pay attention to right now is Charlotte Linlin. Several people moved quickly towards the place where Kaido and others landed. Zanguo said so. I'm so scared. Charlotte Linlin, one of the 4 emperors, the lord of all nations. Just thinking about it makes me tremble all over. Kizaru said in a mean way. Aokiji's mouth twitched. Borsellino, let's not do this now. You can feel it. We have all been strengthened by Su Chen. My physical strength has increased by more than 50% compared to my original strength. We can just pick any one of us out alone. They are both powerful enough to defeat Big Mom in her perfect form. What's more, what about her now that her fruit domineering power is completely sealed? Kizaru shrugged indifferently. Even if the power of war is sealed, it will still scare me. Several people quickly arrived at the place where Kaido's mother shanks fell. It's obvious. After both sides felt the gap in strength between each other. I even learned about it from the Warring States period. News that Whitebeard, Ace, Pluton Rayleigh and others have died. Kaido and his companions no longer had any thought of resisting. But they will not sit idly by and watch being captured by Marine. Critical moment. Red-haired Shanks still used his face fruit. In secret, a heavy price was paid. They finally got the permission from Zanguo. So he secretly left the Marine headquarters, as miserable as a lost dog. Kaido, the sea after that. What will become of it? On the deck of a damaged pirate ship of the Beast's pirates. Charlotte Linlin looks at the sea. A trace of loneliness flashed across his face. Have no idea. Breaking away from Su Chen's ceiling area. Kaido's figure has returned to normal, but it is still very huge. At this moment, I heard the ant's question, just a simple reply. I'm afraid later. Over a period of decades, the ocean is about to be controlled by those damn Marines. I didn't expect that Roger had just started the age of pirates. In just a few years, it came to an end. Charlotte Linlin is not having an attack of illness right now. On the contrary, after experiencing the events of the Battle of Marineford, she is now eerily calm. I plan to put Wano country into a state of isolation again after I return. Kaido looked at Big Mom. He told me his future plans. I probably haven't told you how I got the injuries. Big Mom heard Kaido suddenly talk about the injuries on his body. I became interested immediately. You know, Kaido is known as the most powerful creature in the world. Even someone as strong as himself, there is no way to kill yourself. But that's how it is. When Big Mom first saw Kaido, I was still shocked. There is not a single piece of good meat on Kaido's body. More strictly speaking, it should be a large piece of charred corpse. Only parts of the brain and vital internal organs survived. But for ordinary people, it can be said that he is dead and cannot die anymore. It's the new admiral from Marine. At that time, Red Hair invited me to participate in the operation to save Roger's son. This little ghost suddenly appeared on Ghost Island. We are being asked to cancel our plans. Of course I didn't agree. I thought that at least the combination of me and Red Hair and Onigashima would give us the advantage. I didn't expect Su Chen to be at a disadvantage. He only used one move. It almost killed me and Redhead. After accumulating enough strength, a burst of energy will be released. Su Chen is indeed heaven-defyingly strong, but a smile soon appeared on his face. This is the man she likes, Kaido continued. It was really just a little bit away. It was the first time I felt so close to death. Big Mom doesn't believe that Kaido has changed his personality like this. This is a proud man who values his face more than his life. Are you willing to merge the Wano country with my Wano country? Okay, now that you said so, when Rox was still alive, he couldn't do this. After listening to Kaido's words, I even felt that Su Chen hadn't used his full strength at that time. Big Mom also understood why Kaido planned to close the country to the outside world. That's why I planned to completely cut off contact with the outside world after returning to Wano country. Then merge. The flesh on his face was trembling. So, Linlin. It's so scary. He has such a weird ability, and he almost killed you with one move. Take action on Marine again. With this kind of evil being around, how could pirates possibly stir up trouble on the sea? Kaido said in a deep voice. He still has at least 20% of his strength that has not been fully unleashed. We join forces. Is it the guy who cast the sealing field that caused this? Until I am fully recovered from my injuries, I will not appear on the sea again. You mean, the horrible injuries on your body? That brat deliberately didn't kill me. Are you planning to form a complete alliance with me? Was he defeated by Su Chen just like that? But even though she understood it, Big Mom still didn't understand why Kaido did this. Once we have accumulated enough strength, we will definitely give Marine a fatal revenge. The ant was shocked. The ant was a little surprised. I will definitely wash away today's shame. Chapter 128 Sabo appears in Windmill Village. The celestial dragons cause a commotion at the banquet tavern. With the end of the war on top, the originally bloody sea. The original calm was restored again. A month passed in the blink of an eye. East China Sea. Windmill Village. The sea here is incredibly calm. And in town. Today it was crowded. There are many windmills in the village. Familiar and unfamiliar faces. They all appeared at the same time today. But it's strange. The village was obviously crowded. The atmosphere was quite serious. People walking on the street one by one. There was a solemn look on his face. Or sad, on the streets of the village. There was only the sound of walking footsteps, next to the main street. In the banquet bar of Windmill Village, there was a faint sound of sobbing. Ah, why is it like this? It's obviously been a little while since they went to sea. If I had known I wouldn't have let them go to sea regardless of what I said. Those two are the brats I've seen growing up, although it has always been hard for me to say it, I have long regarded them as my own children. Inside the bar. The matron of the Dayton family, Callie Dayton. He took a swig of bitter wine. She lay on the wine table in pain and cried loudly. Aside. Maginot's face also looked bad. She comforted Dayton. There is no resurrection from the dead. The road in life is still long, we must look forward. Miss Dayton. I am also very sad about the death of Luffy and Ace. But I think it's better than crying. Ace and Luffy hope that we can carry their will and continue to live. The burial ceremony for Ace and Luffy will be held soon. The village chief and Mr. Garp will personally bury them. Miss Dayton, you'd better show a smile. Don't let Luffy look at us in such a mess when he and Ace leave. From Maginot's words, it is not difficult to analyze today's Windmill Village. What is the situation? Today is the day that Luffy and Ace are buried. Although Luffy and Ace are both pirates who cannot be put on the stage. But after all, everyone in Windmill Village, everyone who loves Ace Luffy, or give it to the two brothers, a huge farewell ceremony was held. I hope Luffy and Ace brothers will be together, be able to leave this world well. Far away, an extremely luxurious ferry, appearing slowly from a distance. Finally, we stopped next to the Windmill Village. A dozen burly men wearing explosive collars, surrounded by a mean man wearing an astronaut helmet. Logged in here. What a disgusting land. I never thought that as a member of the Figaland family, I would one day be so depressed that I would step on the same land as the Untouchables. What a disgusting behavior. This mean man looks plump. Even better than the T-Dolphin, it's several times greasier. Just being looked at, I'm probably going to feel sick to my stomach. And this person's clothing, there are also marks on the body. But it's shocking, this person is actually a celestial dragon from Mary Chowya. Mr. Figaland Nolandelli, I'm really sorry, our ferry cannot reach the next supply point and must supply supplies on this island. An old man who looks like a butler, kneel on the ground. He said in fear to the celestial dragon named Nolandry in front of him. Tisk. How annoying, hurry up. I will leave this barren land within half an hour. Otherwise, wait until we go back to Mary Chowya. I'll kill you all and feed them to the dogs. The old man who looked like a butler was trembling all over. But he still forced a smile. Dear Lord Nolandry, you are a great being of the Figaland family. Of course you can do whatever you want to us slaves who serve you. The steward said. He immediately took a few strong men with him. Entered the territory of Windmill Village, but it didn't take long. The housekeeper came back in a panic. He said to Nolandry with a look of shame on his face. Sir, I'm really sorry, I didn't complete the supply mission. Today seems to be an important holiday in this place. They didn't listen to my requests at all. Hear what the steward said. Nolandry was already in a bad mood. The flesh on his face began to turn red. It's obvious, he was angry. The red is warm. These are Untouchables. In the East China Sea, a place where birds don't shit. How dare you disobey your subordinates? This means you don't take him seriously at all. Talk about it more seriously. This is ignoring the authority of the celestial dragons. Everyone should be killed and beheaded, lead the way. I don't believe it anymore, these Untouchables. What will your attitude be like when you see me? Nolandry snorted coldly. Just walk towards the Windmill Village. The people behind him looked at each other. He also hurriedly followed this man. The door of the tavern was kicked open. The wooden door had been repaired several times. Finally it broke again. Sawdust was scattered all over the floor. The entire tavern door fell to the ground. Hello. Isn't this a tavern? The Untouchables. Hurry up and prepare the materials for me to continue sailing? Nolandry shouted loudly. Extremely arrogant, he totally ignored everyone present. Everyone subconsciously looked in the direction of the sound. This is the shocking discovery, they are in Windmill Village. A celestial dragon has arrived, the whole place was silent. They all knelt down in a hurry. I dare not make any eye contact with Nolandelli. Although they are in the remote East China Sea, but I still know it clearly. Never offend the celestial dragons, if you do this. The ending is the same as it was a dozen years ago. Same with Sob. No place for burial after death. Inside the pub, everyone prostrated themselves on the ground respectfully. Except Dayton, she drank. I didn't react for a moment. But I saw that the surroundings suddenly became quiet. She also felt something was wrong. Subconsciously, I looked up towards the door of the tavern. This moment, his gazes intertwined with that of the celestial dragon. On Dayton's face, there was a hint of surprise, then came the extreme shock. There is also a deep hidden hatred. Finally, the expression on Dayton's face changed. It turned into a touch of bitterness and humiliation. She leaned down slowly, kneeled down in front of the celestial dragon. Ha 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 ha, you bunch of Untouchables. Although I live in a remote place, I still follow the basic etiquette of the Untouchables. You still know it. Nolandly walked straight forward. He stepped on Dayton's back, yelled arrogantly, "Just now my men came over and asked you to give me supplies. How dare you ignore my orders? It seems that I won't teach you a lesson." "You untouchables will never learn your lesson," Nolandly said. "Just take the wine bottle on the table next to you." He hit Dayton hard on the head. Immediately, a lot of blood flowed from Dayton's head. "Do all this?" Nolandly still seemed unsatisfied. Another round of smashing. The banquet bar was a mess. At last, he looked at the wall, in the photo of Luffy and Ace. Why is there a portrait of the Straw Hat Pirate who caused a commotion on Judicial Island? What bad luck." After saying that, he grabbed this photo. "Slam it hard to the ground. Tavern corner. A Murakami child who came to help. I saw the celestial dragons trying to destroy Luffy and Ace's photos. Or the last photo of Ace and Luffy in their tavern. I suddenly became anxious." No, she just opened her mouth. His mouth was covered by the person behind him. There was a flash of fear in the child's eyes. "Isn't there anyone behind her? Who is this guy that suddenly appears?" She turned back subconsciously. "I found that this person was wearing a haute couture dress. He was holding a cane and wearing a top hat on his head. Comer. It turned out to be Sob, who had been missing for more than 10 years. Shish. Sabo gave the little girl in front of him a kind smile. But he turned his eyes and looked deep into the eyes of the celestial dragon in the distance. But it was extremely gloomy, after Nolandry caused a big scene in the pub. Finally, I was too tired to continue." He looked at Dayton lying on the ground, who had been kicked hard by him. Surprisingly, there was no serious injury. This made him very unhappy. He directly took out pistol from his waist. It hit Dayton's forehead. "Get ready to pull the trigger." This left Dayton kneeling on the ground. My whole body trembled violently. "That's right. Fear me, you untouchable. That's what I want to see you look like." Nolandry said excitedly. Obviously he was upset because he didn't kill Dayton. Could it be a devil fruit user? And he pulled the trigger right away. Up slap. Nolandly heard that the supplies were already prepared. It forcibly changed the direction of Nolandly's gun, which was pointed at Dayton's head. He also revealed a smile that was uglier than crying. Totally unnatural wind. "That's right. I don't want to stay in this poor land any longer. The visitor is the chief of Windmill Village." He walked straight out of the pub. What an unnatural wind. Dayton fell to his knees. The entrance of the banquet tavern. "On behalf of all the villagers in Windmill Village, I sincerely apologize to you. Get everything on board." He just put the gun back in his pocket. Suddenly a strong wind blew. Nolandry frowned. "We have prepared the supplies you need. At this time, this remote and poor place called Windmill Village is really a torture to your eyes. What's going on?" With a bang, an old voice came from a distance. "Let Dayton save his life. Are you ready?" The bullets whizzed out. Feel the threat of death go away. The entrance to the pub. Master Celestial Dragon. This is what it means to let out a long sigh. Chapter 129 Su Chen. Revive, my love. Windmill Village. Back Mountain. Now is the funeral ceremony of Ace and Luffy. And in the corner, a woman in disguise. He paced around in place somewhat unnaturally. "Momosagi's sister. It's done. Let's go." Su Chen was walking towards us from a distance. He said to Momosagi Gion, who was in disguise in front of him. The 9th sign-in task arranged by the system has been completed. This time, he received the response of silence. Although it is not the immortality that Su Chen has been looking forward to. But it is also a very practical sage art. Distance to next system upgrade. Just one last sign-in left. Is it finally done? Let's go, brother Su Chen. It's a little late to say it now. But shouldn't we be here? Momosagi Gion looks at the people in the surrounding Windmill Village. There was a trace of sadness on his face. He couldn't help but say it to Su Chen subconsciously. After all, Su Chen is the murderer of Luffy and Ace. No matter how Marine tries to cover it up, these are indisputable facts. And Momosagi Gion is also believed. There are bad guys among the Marines. Among the pirates, there must be people like adventurers. Watching the people of Windmill Village mourning Ace and Luffy like this. Momosagi Gion believes. Ace and Luffy, probably in pirates. One of the few good people. Think of this. Momosagi actually felt a sense of guilt. Let's go. Just don't bother them. Find a quiet place where no one will disturb you. I have things to do, Su Chen said, with the help of Momosagi. Soon Su Chen arrived at a remote coast of Windmill Village. There's no one around here. Su Chen closed his eyes silently. The observation hockey quickly enveloped the entire beach. A few seconds. Su Chen was sure. There were no other creatures on the beach except some wild animals. There was no more sight. Momoshagi, help me keep an eye on the surroundings. Make sure no one gets within a kilometer of me. Momoshagi nodded seriously. Just jump immediately. Came to the forest in the distance. Protect Su Chen. Su Chen looked at the beach in front of him. Take a deep breath. It's time to resurrect those who should be resurrected. Okay, it's time to finish what needs to be done. Resurrection, my sweetheart? That seems a bit disgusting. Su Chen talked to himself, after thinking for a long time. Su Chen still couldn't think of the right lines. I had no choice but to snap my fingers. Open black lens bracket endless close black lens bracket launch. When, a loud bell rang, ringing in the sky. Then in front of Su Chen, a figure slowly emerged. The man was naked from the waist up, wearing the iconic straw hat on the back. If Garp saw it, it will definitely be a shocking addition. It appeared out of nowhere in front of Su Chen. It happened during the war at the top. The Straw Hat Boy killed by Su Chen, Monkey D. Luffy. Where am I? Luffy sat down on the grass. He looked at the surroundings with some confusion. So familiar, I feel like these trees and grass are what I saw when I was a kid. Ah, I remember now, you were in the war at the top. The B********* D Marine who killed me in Ace, memory gradually returns. Luffy looked at Su Chen in front of him with shock. Why are you here? Do you still want to fight me to the death? Hey, something seems wrong. You're going to kill me, my mind is so confused. I feel like I need to grow a brain, rubber. Ah, my devil fruit power is gone too. Luffy scratched his head. He showed a distressed expression. Hey, Marine. You killed me, this must be hell. Tell me, what's going on now? Luffy frowned, said to Su Chen. Su Chen didn't say anything. Instead, he looked carefully at Luffy in front of him. After confirming that the other party was resurrected by eternal life, there really is no problem. Only then did I feel relieved. Ace Marco, appear. Su Chen snapped his fingers again. This is inexplicable behavior. This made Luffy frown. Hey, Marine boy. Are you sane? Ace and the Birdman are both dead? How is it possible that you can be resurrected with just one sentence? Yes, you are the murderer who killed Ace, I will beat you up. Luffy hadn't finished speaking yet. Two familiar voices were heard behind me. Why am I here, Ace? Luffy? Luffy's pupils suddenly shrank. The subconscious thing is to look back, then I saw it. Ace and Marco appeared out of nowhere. Ace and Marco today. They have all just been resurrected. The memory has not yet fully recovered. Looking at Luffy and Su Chen in front of him, they all had confused expressions on their faces. Luffy, why are you hanging out with Marine? Is this the man you told me about, Kobe? Luffy didn't respond to Ace's words, instead, he pounced directly on him. Give Ace a bear hug. Ah, Ace, ah. Luffy burst into tears, like a child who has been wronged. Ace was held tight. A look of confusion, but seeing Luffy crying so hard. He also helplessly revealed a doting smile. He patted the back of Luffy's head. Okay, stop crying. What kind of idea is this? Everyone's still watching, you don't feel ashamed, but I do. Ace finished. The memories in my mind are gradually restored. Scenes from the war at the top, it flashed quickly before his eyes. Suddenly, Marco and Ace. There was a flash of extreme solemnity in the eyes of the two men. They all subconsciously took several steps back. He looked at Su Chen in front of him with extreme vigilance. What do you want to do, Su Chen? I'm warning you, if you dare to attack Luffy again. Even if it means risking my life, I will also leave you with a painful price. Su Chen shook his head helplessly. Ace didn't bother to debate with his stupid brother. Su Chen shrugged. We may not be as strong as you, but we will risk our lives to leave you some scars. Suddenly, Luffy retorted. Ace didn't believe it at all. After listening to Su Chen's words, it can still be done. What? A dog bites Lu Dongbin, and he doesn't know the kindness of a good person. Old man, why are you still alive? Why are we here? This Marine brought you back to life. Why didn't you say you resurrected your dad too? Marco on the side also said coldly. Only then did Luffy slowly stop crying. It's the voice of Whitebeard Daddy, a somewhat old voice sounded. Just assume that what he said is right, Ace Birdman. Behind Ace Marco. It's true, Ace. Ace then looked around. I didn't lie to you. Okay, whatever you say is what's going on. Look where this place is first. Suddenly he was stunned. Ace and Marco. He snapped his fingers again. It felt like being struck by lightning. Ahem, they were all too familiar with this voice. This is the East China Sea, this is the Windmill Village. Resurrection, stop joking. Chapter 130. Garp burst into tears. Ace and Luffy were both resurrected by Su Chen. Oh, it's the white-bearded uncle who took me to the marine headquarters. Luffy leaned against Su Chen. He recognized the resurrected Whitebeard at a glance. Didn't think much about it, he immediately showed a cheerful smile. Greeted Whitebeard, Straw Hat Boy, Ace, Marco. Where is this place? Could it be hell? But why are you here, and Su Chen kid? Whitebeard's eyes narrowed. With so many years of experience in sailing on the sea, Whitebeard still couldn't guess. On him, what exactly happened? Dad, you are really resurrected. Ace turned around. Seeing Whitebeard with his body intact, he hugged the 7-meter-tall Whitebeard with great excitement. How could that be? Dad, wasn't your upper body blown up by that damn guy Akainu? With this kind of injury, he shouldn't be able to survive. There are no signs of injury on your body. Marco's eyes were full of astonishment. Now Su Chen did not break all methods. The observation haki released by Marco immediately enveloped Whitebeard. His physical condition immediately came to Marco's mind. Marco was shocked to find out, before Whitebeard went to Marineford to rescue Ace. Healthier, originally, under the protection of medical equipment, Whitebeard could only live for another 5 or 6 years at most. And now, live another 10 or 20 years, it's such a breeze. After all, Whitebeard's experience is much higher than Luffy and others present. Compare Su Chen's expression with that of others. It can be vaguely guessed, now he can be resurrected. It should probably be Su Chen's work. Marco, tell me. What happened after I died in the Battle of Marineford? Marco nodded repeatedly, immediately, using the most concise words. Everything that happens afterwards, he told Whitebeard everything. Including the fact that they were finally captured by Su Chen. Death by being shot in public. I heard that Ace and Marco were both shot to death by Su Chen. Whitebeard couldn't help but gasp, that is to say. These people in front of me, were they all resurrected by Su Chen? Su Chen actually has such a terrifying method, so, we were all resurrected by Su Chen. Whitebeard took a deep breath, he turned and looked at Su Chen. He bowed deeply to Su Chen. No matter what kind of thoughts you are in. Thank you so much for doing all this. I want to know what price we need to pay? Whitebeard is no fool. Is it so easy to resurrect a person? Su Chen resurrected them. There's more than one person. Su Chen must have paid a heavy price. Su Chen shook his head. Just think of it as you owe me a favor, when I need your help. Don't be such an ungrateful person, just reject me. It was different from what Whitebeard had in mind. It didn't cost Su Chen any money to resurrect Whitebeard and others. All it takes is a thought. Activate endless life. Within a minute, Su Chen was able to fill the entire Windmill Village with Whitebeards. It seems like he remembered something. Su Chen spoke again. I almost forgot, resurrecting you was just my idea. The marine executives don't know. Find a secret place and live a peaceful life from now on. Whitebeard nodded. I have already experienced death once. Naturally, he has completely let it go. What a great secret treasure. What is the status of the 4 emperors, compared with the happy and harmonious life of family members? It's not worth mentioning at all. But Luffy and Ace on the side heard what Su Chen said. But I was immediately anxious. No, if you don't let me go out to sea, how can I be One Piece? I want to support Whitebeard and become the man of One Piece, so how can I not go out to sea? Whitebeard snorted coldly. I never said that I wanted to inherit Roger's One Piece status. And at this time, in the distance of Windmill Village, a meteor suddenly exploded from the ground, then it swept across the sky. Came to the remote location where Su Chen and others were. With a bang, the meteor fell to the ground. It turned out to be an old man. The man had a shabby beard. He looked as miserable as a beggar on the street. But he was wearing a nice suit. Ace, Luffy. My perception was correct. Didn't you die in the Battle of Marineford? I personally disposed of your bodies. The man's face was seen clearly by everyone. It was a marine hero. Lieutenant General Garp. He couldn't control the tears that flowed from his eyes. I wish I could hold both Ace and Luffy in my arms. But I am afraid that this is all an artificial illusion. He was afraid that the 2 people in front of him would disappear again. Hey, it's Garp. I never thought that there would be a day when I could meet you again, old man. How shameful, ha 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 ha. Are you crying just because you see your grandson again? Whitebeard laughed, teased Garp. Whitebeard. How could it be? What the hell is going on? Garp looked at everything in front of him in shock. Is this the road to Hades? Why are you all here when you should have died long ago? In the forest. Momoshagi came running from a distance in panic. Sorry, brother Su Chen, Lieutenant General Garp is too fast. I can't stop him at all. Su Chen smiled indifferently. Anyway, this is the situation that Garp is happy to see. Luffy Ace is resurrected. He would definitely be the first one willing to help keep the secret. It's okay, I'll explain the rest. Sister Momoshage, please continue to watch over me. If other senior Marines see this, it will be really troublesome. After Su Chen finished explaining to Momoshage, snapped his fingers. Cast an inspire buff on Momoshage. Hear what Momoshage and Whitebeard said. Garp finally recovered from his shock. He turned and looked at Su Chen in disbelief. Su Chen. Why are you here too? From what you said, could it be that you did all this? You resurrected Ace Luffy and the others, Su Chen nodded. It's a little complicated to explain, but that's how it is. I resurrected Whitebeard, Luffy, Ace, and Marco. If nothing unexpected happens, I will resurrect Pluton Rayleigh later. Garp swallowed in shock. Subconsciously, he pointed his finger in the direction of Ace and Luffy. Finally, after his fingers touched Ace and Luffy's skin. Make sure the other person is not an illusion. Garp finally burst out laughing. He just hugged Ace and Luffy in his arms. Ha 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 ha. You two damned kids. You know how worried I am. It really is. Take my iron fist of love. Boom, boom, boom. 3 punches down. Ace and the other two's faces were swollen like pigs' heads. Hey, 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 old man, Luffy and I just resurrected. Ace cursed and covered his head. It hurts, Grandpa. Luffy protested loudly. Mr. Garp. I have nothing to do with you, right? Why did you hit me? Marco covered his head. A look of confusion. Chapter 131 Jielen Sheng is shocked. Whitebeard is still alive. Want to kill his nephew to silence him? Windmill Village Coastal Pier. Boxes of supplies. He was carried towards the cabin by strong slaves. A celestial dragon wearing an oxygen helmet, Fergaland Nolandry. He was watching all this with an unhappy look on his face. Hey, how long will it take before we can set off? I'm tired of waiting. Hurry up, can't you hear me? The old butler at the side quickly apologized with a smile. Sir, we do need a lot of supplies this time. As long as we have sufficient supplies, we won't have to dock again. You can sail directly to Marihoa. After hearing this explanation. Only then did Nolandeli calm down a little. Let these slaves move faster. I don't want to see these unlucky untouchables in this disgusting barren land anymore. Just as Nolandeli said, in the windmill village in the distance. There was a loud explosion. Suddenly came out. The sound echoed throughout the entire pier and coast. Then there was a blinding light, it's like a shooting star. Quickly from inside the village, flying towards a secluded beach in the distance. What's going on? Nolandry frowned. Butler, go check what's going on. The old butler nodded repeatedly. He immediately climbed up to the observation tower of the luxury ship. Use a telescope specially made by the celestial dragons. Look towards the location where the meteor landed. It doesn't matter if you don't watch it. The old butler looked at this. I was so scared that I almost lost my soul. There was no color left on his face. My legs were shaking uncontrollably. Whitebeard. It's Whitebeard, there's no mistake, it's that guy. The old butler took several minutes to calm down. Only then did he climb up tremblingly, use a telescope. Once again, he looked at the scene in the distance. This time, within the telescope's line of sight. The scene shocked the old butler even more, not just Whitebeard. There is also the son of One Piece Roger who was publicly executed during the previous war on the top. Fire Fist Ace. The characteristics of the Straw Hat Boy are also very obvious. It is recognizable at a glance. Garp and Su Chen both wore Marine's white cloak of justice. I will never admit my mistake. Marine, you're actually hanging out with pirates. Something big has happened, the old butler swallowed. His eyes were filled with disbelief, he hesitated for a moment. I decided to tell Nolandry everything honestly, this matter is really too serious. If there is any concealment involving him, I'm afraid even if there are 100 heads, they are still not enough for the celestial dragons to chop off. His legs were shaking as if he had been electrocuted. It took a while, only then did we come to the ground. The location of Nolandly. I saw that it took the old butler such a long time to come back. Nolandly suddenly got angry, he directly took out a pistol from his waist. It hit the old butler's forehead. Butler, you dare to keep me so long. Don't you want to live anymore? I just want to change to a young and beautiful housekeeper? My lord, something big is happening. I have something important to report to you. The old butler immediately told the whole story. All was told to Nolandry truthfully. Whitebeard. Marine. Are you sure you're not senile, after listening to everything the old butler said? Even if Nolandeli's brain is not very good, he also frowned. This is totally impossible to happen. Could it be that this old butler made up a story to fool himself in order to save his life? I saw Nolandli showing an expression of complete disbelief. The old butler immediately prostrated himself on his knees. He said to him with great respect, "My lord, I really didn't lie. This is a matter of great importance. If you have any doubts, you can go to the watchtower to verify it." Whitebeard and his men don't seem to have any plans to leave in the short term. Hearing the old butler's determined expression, Nolandli raised his eyebrows. If that's really the case, this is serious. He immediately used his hands and feet to climb up to the observation tower. Through the instructions of the old butler, he looked in the direction of Su Chen, Whitebeard and others. The view inside the telescope. Nolandli was so frightened that his nose and tears were all over the floor. It's actually Whitebeard and those Marines. This is incredible. Something big has happened. The Marine who protects his celestial dragons is actually involved with pirates. Or a great pirate like Whitebeard. Butler, quickly contact my uncle Jialansheng. Tell them to send someone over immediately and catch them all in one fell swoop. We'll sail away immediately. Don't worry about the other supplies. The most important thing now is to leave here quickly and don't stay here any longer. I have to say, although Nolandri is a celestial dragon, but he still has some brains. Know to leave quickly. Keep yourself safe. But he forgot. Whitebeard Garp et al. They are all in the One Piece world. A first-class strong man. Previously watched by the old butler through a telescope. They have already noticed something, a little more cautious. And now it is being checked by Nolandeli. The observation hockey that was released subconsciously from their bodies. The luxury ferry where Nolandli was located had already been included. Feeling that the ship Nolandeli was on wanted to leave. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes slightly. There was a flash of murderous intent. He looked at Su Chen. Said, "Boy Su Chen, the people on this boat have bad intentions. Looks like he's planning to run away and call for help. Do you want me to kill them?" Garp nodded quickly. The news that Ace and Luffy are alive must not be leaked. Otherwise, the Marines and the world government will definitely put up a bounty on them again. It's even possible to launch a buster call to Windmill Village. Su Chen slowly closed his eyes. Moment. The observation hockey probes into the distance. Everything inside the entire ferry, all in view. Are they actually celestial dragons? Interesting. Su Chen slowly raised his right hand. The sky is clouded over. Almost in the blink of an eye, then a terrifying thunder fell. Covering the entire luxury ferry, Su Chen prepares to use thunder. And inside the luxury ferry, watching the dark clouds rolling in the sky, Nolandli only felt a chill running from his toes straight up to his head. He suddenly had a premonition. I'm going to die. Nolandeli had almost no hesitation. He snatched the Den Den Mushi directly from the old butler. Dial the phone the parents left for him, only when it matters most. Only then can you make a call. Nolandri's uncle. Commander of the Knights of God. It's Feigeland Galinsan's phone call. Beep, beep, beep. The call was connected quickly. Hello? Jialin Sheng's somewhat lazy voice came from the phone. Uncle, I'm Nolandli. Help me. I found out Whitebeard was colluding with Marine. They want to kill me and silence me, on the other end of the phone. Hear what Nolandri said. Jialin Sheng was obviously confused. What, Whitebeard? Didn't he die in the Battle of Marineford? Chapter 132 Su Chen kills the celestial dragons. 5 elders appear? Ding ling ling. Ding ling ling. The Den Den Mushi in Su Chen's pocket rang. Just when he was about to hang up the Den Den Mushi. Den Den Mushi answered the call by itself. Su Chen. I am Feigeland Galen of the Knights of God. I command you as a celestial dragon. Stop all your actions immediately, and you are formally arrested for attacking and killing a celestial dragon. If you still want to save your life, don't resist. Su Chen heard Jialin Sheng's voice. It came from the Den Den Mushi. It didn't take long to figure out what was going on. The Den Den Mushi was given to Marine. The Tianlong people set up a backdoor in it that does not allow people to hang up and automatically answers calls. It couldn't be easier. Originally, Su Chen was planning to use thunder to silence the witness first. Answer the call after you have done everything, and now the call was answered by myself. It was obvious that Jialin Sheng knew what he was thinking. I don't want to act first and report later. It's not just Su Chen. The roar of Galen Saint. There is no intention to cover it up at all. Everyone present changed their expressions. Guys who just discovered they exist. It's actually a celestial dragon. This is going to be difficult. Su Chen boy. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes slightly. The current situation was quickly assessed. Garp and Su Chen are both from Marine. The most suitable person to silence someone right now. They are pirates after all. Whitebeard was just about to use the power of the tremor fruit. Cross the void and destroy the fleeing ferry in the distance. It was an unexpected discovery. His devil fruit ability has completely disappeared. Want to sink a ship at such a long distance? Even with the blessing of domineering, there is no Kongyun Chi. It is also impossible to do, far away, on the sea. The ship that Nolandry was on. The tail began to swallow the seawater rapidly. It seems to be gathering strength, as if preparing to use some trick to escape. Damn it! That ship uses the latest marine technology. We must act quickly, otherwise, the Dragon Man will really run away. How about I do it? Let me take all the blame. I have been displeased with those damn Tianlong people for a long time. Garp took a step forward. A terrifying domineering aura condensed on his body. They were preparing to destroy the escaping ship in the distance. But just as Garp was about to take action, thunder falling from the sky. But he has already taken the lead, falling from the sky. The terrifying razor directly swallowed up everything on the sea in the distance. The sky has become much darker at this moment. Boom 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 boom. A horrible explosion sounded from far away, even if they are far apart. People along the coast, they can all be felt clearly. The destructive aura in that terrifying thunder mushroom cloud appears. Everything in the distance. All of these were accompanied by the appearance of the mushroom cloud. Disappeared completely. The luxury ship has disappeared without a trace. Not to mention the celestial dragon, Nolandry, who was on the ship. From beginning to end, there was no change in Su Chen's expression. It's as if it doesn't matter at all, but this time. The Den Mushi hasn't hung up yet, Garin Sheng's incredible voice. Coming from the Den Mushi, Su Chen, how dare you do that? I've already ordered you to stop, but you still dared to kill the celestial dragon in front of me. Good boy, I think you don't know who gave you the right to wear marine skin. Su Chen, I declare this as the commander of the celestial dragon god knights. Depose you from your rank of marine general, and I sentence you to death. After saying that, Jialin Sheng did not hesitate at all. Then he hung up the phone. Garp and Whitebeard. Their expressions were all extremely solemn. Boy Su Chen, you are in big trouble, Whitebeard said in a deep voice. Leave here immediately, run as far as you can, never appear in the sight of marine and celestial dragons. You don't know the horrific methods of the five elders. Garp also quickly added. Prepare to notify everyone in Windmill Village to evacuate. At worst, those damn celestial dragons will all launch a buster call. Everyone looked embarrassed, in Su Chen's mind. But suddenly the system's voice appeared. Ding ding ding. Congratulations host. The last check-in location for the system upgrade has appeared. After completing this task, the system can be upgraded to version 3.0. At that time, the system will open a portal that will allow you to return to the world. Su Chen's eyebrows suddenly raised, this time it's upgraded. Can I go home now? Su Chen quickly checked the check-in location in the system. But it was discovered. Location where you need to punch in. Right in the Windmill Village where I live, what's going on? Check in here? Then system, clock me in immediately? Ding ding ding. Reply host, check-in failed. Please check the detailed tasks of the check-in. Su Chen carefully looked at the last task given by the system. As expected. Found a line of small words. The Windmill Village where the five elders died. 5 elders. Death, it was to kill the 5 elders. Only then can we check in at the last location. Su Chen, what are you still standing there for? Pack your things quickly and get out of here. Run as far as you can before those celestial dragon bastards react. Garp said quickly. He said as he spoke, while preparing to walk towards Windmill Village. It's not just Su Chen. Ace and Luffy also had to leave quickly. So as not to be affected by marine, but Garp just took a step. I found something wrong. On the entire beach, the silence is terrifying. An indescribable feeling. It swept through Garp's entire body. Notice, the space is blocked, Whitebeard said with a gloomy expression. Use the tremor fruit for a long time. This allowed him to briefly come into contact with the energy fluctuations in space. Although now the connection with the tremor fruit has been lost. But I can still feel it vaguely. Marine generals and below, get out of the way immediately. It has been completely sealed by a special energy. Several old figures. Damn it, I'm out of control. Several terrifying feelings of oppression descended from the sky. An extremely ancient and complicated spell. The smoke dissipated in the distance. "What's going on?" Whitebeard said with a gloomy look in his eyes. The next moment, "Marine generals and below, get out of the way immediately." The 5 elders have appeared. Ace's legs went weak. "Kneel down. Marine generals and below, get out of the way immediately." My knees went weak uncontrollably, above the sky. With Su Chen and his group as the center, blue lightning energy. The space around it fluctuates, appearing out of thin air. The warning sound disappears. The 5 elders have appeared. Im's method? The same goes for Luffy. A huge warning sounded through the sky. Appeared in front of everyone. The sound of swishing suddenly appeared. On the beach. The 5 elders have appeared. It covers an area of several kilometers in radius. Under this powerful oppression, my body couldn't control itself and I wanted to kneel down. It turned out to be the 5 elders, already prepared for battle. Chapter 133. Break all laws. Failed? The 5 elders are so powerful that it is suffocating. The power comes from Yim. Su Chen boy. Try to use your sealing fruit to see if you can find a way out. Ace, Marco, follow Su Chen and cooperate with him with all your strength. I'm buying you some time. Whitebeard looked solemn. Conqueror's Haki and Armament Haki appear around. Suddenly there was a rumble of thunder. Whitebeard? The news is indeed true. You have indeed been resurrected through unknown means. Galen Shang saw the white beard in front of him. He showed a look of sudden enlightenment. You see, boars. It's time for me to enforce justice and clean up the mess. Whitebeard finished speaking. Then he rushed towards the direction of 5 elders. Su Chen, what should we do now? Ace and Luffy looked at Su Chen at the same time. But Su Chen had no intention of leaving. The task issued by the system is to kill 5 elders. It was delivered to my door. There is no reason not to collect this dish. I saw Whitebeard running forward. Su Chen directly threw an enhanced buff, stimulate, on it. At the same time, break all laws, enveloped the 5 elders. Instantly, Whitebeard felt that his whole body was filled with endless strength. Very good, if I have this power, I can do it even without the tremor fruit. I have the capital to kill you, Whitebeard yelled. He is extremely fast, almost in the blink of an eye. Then they came before the 5 elders, throw a punch. With rolling thunder. Garen Sheng saw Whitebeard coming. I don't care at all, even if it is covered by, break all laws. I have become an ordinary person, there is no fear at all. It's useless. Jielin Sheng said lightly, you don't stand a chance. It's all in vain, just wait for death. You killed the noble celestial dragons. Even if you, the lowly people, died 10,000 times, it will not be enough to atone for your sins. Saint Peter raised his right hand. The space is actually distorted. A black hole appeared out of nowhere. He was going to swallow Whitebeard directly. What kind of ability is this? Whitebeard reacted quickly enough. A punch hit the ground. Relying on reaction force. Barely managed to avoid this all-devouring black hole. Su Chen, who was far away, saw the special abilities used by the 5 elders. His eyebrows raised slightly, after being enveloped by, break all laws. This is the first time someone has been able to use special abilities in it. This ability has never appeared in the original plot. Su Chen murmured. He said thoughtfully. Ace on the side saw this. He asked quickly. What's going on? Su Chen, hasn't your sealing fruit always been successful? Why are we so lame now when we're fighting the 5 elders? Hurry up and seal the black hole ability of the 5 elders. Otherwise, Dad will be in danger. Su Chen touched his chin. Encountered such a special situation. Su Chen didn't plan to experience it himself. Even if eternal life can be resurrected, but it would be better to resurrect others. Now the most important thing. Find out what abilities the 5 elders are using. He raised his right hand. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket gathered in the sky at a very fast speed. Then a terrifying lightning snake fell directly from the sky. Mixed with a terrifying breath of destruction. I've already said it, Su Chen. Today is the day you die. No matter how hard you struggle, it's all in vain. Do you really think we have no way of dealing with you with those weird little tricks you use every day? The god of law. Topman Vokuli Saint snorted coldly. The blocked space around him suddenly lit up. The thunder in the sky just disappeared out of thin air. Even more magical than the break all laws performed by Su Chen. Then, the space around you changes, Su Chen and the 5 elders. It turned into a series of high walls sealed by chains. Airtight, covering the sky and the sun, as the scene changes. Everyone felt a palpitation. I'm starting to get breathless. The oxygen in the air is decreasing. Control your heart rate. Don't speed up your oxygen consumption by being nervous. Su Chen's expression finally showed a hint of solemnity. The five elders actually have abilities like changing the environment and breaking all laws. This was indeed something Su Chen had not expected. Ace, Luffy. You two boys stay back and hide. This is not a battle you are capable of participating in at your current level. Garp took a deep breath. A terrifying aura burst out from his whole body. A sense of domineering power, like that of a wild beast. Emerging in his body. Whitebeard, get out of my way. Under the sea. Fall down, he shouted. The figure had disappeared long ago. When it appears again, already on top of the five elders. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky, it's like a mountain being dropped. The atmospheric pressure is shaking violently at this time. It's no use, Garp. The so-called marine hero is nothing more than a dog tag given to you by his celestial dragons. Under the absolute power of Lord Yimu, you have no chance of winning. Nesujiro-sei pushed up his glasses, he drew his samurai sword from his waist. Looking at Garp attacking from the sky, just choose to swing your sword and chop. The sword energy looks ordinary, it destroys everything it touches. Even space is not spared, such terrifying cutting power. Garp faced it head on, except death, there is no other result. Boom! A loud bang, a space tear exploded next to Garp. Relying on short shock waves, Garp barely managed to dodge the terrifying spatial sword energy released by Nesujiro-sei. Thanks, Su Chen. You saved this old man, Garp landed. His entire back was soaked with cold sweat, if Su Chen hadn't helped just now. He is definitely dead. Su Chen didn't answer, instead, he was pondering the last words that Nesujiro-sei said. The power of Lord I Am. The five elders can display various abilities within their own, break all laws, domain. Is it the power of I Am? The original novel ends up until Su Chen's time traveling. Oda only mentioned I Am briefly, there is almost no positive description. Su Chen had no information to learn, but now the most important thing. Or figure out the five elders' abilities, without personally taking part in the event. It would be better to strengthen friendly forces. Su Chen snapped his fingers with his right hand. Open black lens bracket eternal life close black lens bracket activates. Oh, the tremor fruit? You actually got it? Nesujiro Seiji showed surprise on his face. Did you absorb all of it? Flame fruit. Why are you here? We have completely mastered the method of transferring devil fruits. After Whitebeard saw Su Chen use the power of the tremor fruit. Even in front of Garp. Boy, you actually got my fruit. It also has a light fruity scent. Unfortunately, Su Chen still obtained the tremor fruit for too short a time. We have lost our devil fruit abilities now because we died once. Another tremor fruit appeared in front of Whitebeard. At the same time, having said that, also very surprised. Suddenly, something the size of a human head appeared in front of Ace. If Su Chen was given more time to practice, how is that possible? A person can only use one devil fruit ability at most. But it doesn't matter. The tremor fruit will soon have a new owner. This thing is heavy. After the Ceres plan is completed, it will be a good carrier. It appeared very abruptly. He looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar thing in front of him. Whitebeard made an evaluation of Su Chen in his heart. This is something even I can't do. The phoenix fruit appeared in front of Marco. Ace shook his head. Look, you were able to perform space vibrations from a distance just now. Rubber fruits also appeared suddenly. The destructive power caused is still slightly less. But Ace still caught it subconsciously. Su Chen, the devil fruit ability we lost. Su Chen's achievements in the Gen fruit will definitely surpass his current self. Luffy asked confusedly. In front of Luffy, a shining fruit of the same type as Kizaru appeared. Chapter 134 Control everything in space. The five elders in the domain are gods. How is it possible? There are actually two identical devil fruits in the world. Looking at the extremely familiar Gen fruit in front of him. That's not all. Even next to the tremor fruit. The aim-kun that he was familiar with. They are all floating in front of you. Whitebeard was completely shocked, but now was no time to surprise him. Utilize every possible ability to increase combat effectiveness. To defeat the other party, this is what we should do now. Whitebeard didn't hesitate, just grab the Gen fruit. Take a bite, familiar energy fluctuations spread throughout the body. Devil fruit power appears again. Boys, it's time to fight back. Whitebeard yelled. A confident and cheerful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Strong vibration. It seems like the world is shaking. Snap, snap, snap. The world was spinning. The space around the five elders has been completely torn apart. Break it for me. There was a loud bang. The enclosing high walls around them broken directly, but there was no increase in oxygen. The scenery outside the high walls is not the windmill village, but endless nothingness, eternal darkness. What is going on? Have the five elders moved to somewhere else? Garp looked solemn. No overthinking. He also swallowed the shining fruit in front of him in one gulp. The current situation. There is no room for Garp to not eat the devil fruit. The power of the shining fruit appears. Garp felt as if his whole body had turned into flowing light. It seems as long as he wants, he can unleash a powerful iron fist that is several times more powerful than before. Speed and power. It's never relative, as long as it's fast enough. It can amplify the power of Garp's iron fist, reaching an incredible intensity. Galaxy. Iron fist. Garp felt how strong his body was now. He is very much looking forward to it, my current strength. To what level will it skyrocket? Just one punch. Garp felt it clearly. After the Pika Pika fruit, it is also domineeringly strengthened. The power of his fist increased more than tenfold. The space is wailing faintly, it's almost to the point of shattering the void. Ace, Marco and Luffy both ate devil fruits, regained their original abilities. Great Flame Ring, 4th Gear, Phoenix Seal. The three of them used the most powerful moves they could currently perform. Attack in the direction of five elders. What a bunch of sewer rats. Life force is tenacious. Seeing Su Chen and others rekindled their morale. And he inexplicably regained his devil fruit abilities. The five elders didn't care. Even if Su Chen and others came with 100 more. 1,000. It is completely impossible for them to be their opponent. After all, they have the blessing of Lord Yimu's power. All abilities disappear. Dark blue suit. Maka's musician said lightly. Immediately, the abilities of all, it just disappeared mysteriously. Even the space torn by Whitebeard, it also happened in an instant. Restore it to its original state. It echoes Su Chen's, breaking all laws, sage art. It seems to be several times stronger. How could it be? Did the five elders also eat Su Chen's devil fruit ability? Ace looked at the flames he released in disbelief. Disappeared in midair. No, it's different from Su Chen's ability. I can still feel the power of the devil fruit in my body. The five elders are very likely to be able to control everything within their range. Whitebeard's eyes narrowed. A judgment was made. Ha 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 ha, it is indeed a legend from the old times. Whitebeard, you do have some brains. You can actually guess the abilities we use in such a short period of time. I thought you brainless pirates wouldn't be able to figure out our capabilities even if you die. Jialin Sheng said with a sneer. He opened his hands. Seems to want to embrace the whole world. This is the power given to us by Lord I Am. As long as we are within this range, we are gods. The god who controls everything, Jialin Sheng said. Peter Street added. So, everything you do is in vain. It's better to give up resistance as soon as possible and go on the road with peace of mind. Forget it. Why are you talking nonsense to you pirates? It's better to just do it. St. Peter snapped his fingers. Su Chen and everyone instantly felt like someone was grabbing their necks. Can't breathe. The oxygen content in the air was instantly reduced to 0. But the five elders are completely unaffected. Oops. Too sudden. Can't breathe at all. Ace, Luffy, Marco and the three of them looked livid. Everything happened too fast. They didn't even have time to hold their breath. It means that he has lost his ability to fight, but soon. As Su Chen activated Endless Life, again oxygen returns. This is what gives a few people the ability to breathe. Oh, you can actually create oxygen, Su Chen, I have to say? In these decades, even One Piece Roger. I've never been surprised so many times. Your ability is indeed too weird. We don't need unstable guys like you on the ocean. Better die. We, who control everything in this space, will kill you as easily as killing a chicken. Peter Saint made a move with his right hand, behind Su Chen. That huge black hole. Expand directly, it will devour everyone. How so? Are we still going to lose? Damn it. I'm so unwilling. Why are the five elders so powerful? Ace, Luffy and everyone saw his body being gradually swallowed by the black hole. The body was gradually torn apart by the black hole. They all showed a look of despair. It was obvious that he had tried his best. Still can't defeat the opponent. Such a result, they feel so powerless. Ha 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 ha, lowly bugs. I will amplify your senses. Use the slowest speed and let the black hole swallow you. You will feel like your body is being torn apart bit by bit. Feel endless pain, go die. Saint Jian laughed. His eyes were full of joy after victory, but this time. Su Chen's voice sounded. Not loud, but it clearly reached the ears of the 5 elders. So, are these your last words? Jian Sheng looked in the direction of Su Chen. At this moment, Su Chen was swallowed by a black hole. It's just one step away, Su Chen has been completely defeated. There is no possibility of a comeback, boy. Are you still trying to show off your strength at this time? Why don't you think about your own last words, I'd like to know. What other means do you have to punish us, then just come out? Jian Sheng said this. The whole person suddenly stopped. He suddenly realized, he was completely unable to move. Like a marionette. Crucial moment. Su Chen has carefully prepared the heart stealing. Finally it fell on Saint Jian. Chapter 135 Su Chen. You don't know you are wrong, you know you are going to die. The body cannot move, out of control, like a puppet. This situation. Jian Sheng originally canonized Su Chen in Mary Joa. Just experienced it once, not just Galen Saint, the 5 elders. They were all under control in an instant, under the effect of heart stealing. They have all lost control of their bodies, they have become puppets at the mercy of others. Lord Yim, please, help, Su Chen is really too difficult. We can't handle it by ourselves. Jian Sheng cried out for help in his heart. It seems that he hopes to get feedback from Yim in this way. I don't know if I can really hear what is in Jian Sheng's mind. In the entire void space, there actually was an eternal sigh. Accompanied by a sound that seemed to have spanned the long river of time. Su Chen used heart stealing, it happened in an instant. Can't capture the 5 elders, take this opportunity. The 5 elders have regained control of the body. Ha 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 ha, Su Chen, you have already played all your cards. In the face of absolute power, you are nothing but clowns. Galen Sheng laughed out loud, just open your hands. Around Su Chen, dozens of black holes opened their bloody mouths. Want to devour Su Chen, and at this time, Su Chen actually had no intention of dodging. It actually walked straight towards the black hole. Seeing Su Chen's abnormal behavior, instead, the 5 elders were stunned. But they haven't reacted yet. Su Chen had already taken it out of his pocket. What did you take out? Throw it into the black hole and crush it. With a puff, Jian Sheng's expression changed drastically in an instant. Su Chen, I'm going to kill you, he understood immediately. What on earth did Su Chen do? Su Chen didn't know what method was used. He actually took out his heart from a distance, throw it into the black hole and crush it. In the field of space, although Jian Sheng will not die suddenly because of this. But I can never leave this space, as soon as he leaves this spatial realm where he is like a god. He will die immediately because of the missing heart. Died suddenly, even if it meant killing Su Chen and others. Jian Sheng will also be sealed in this space forever and ever. This consequence, how could he not be angry, take advantage of this opportunity? Su Chen's figure flashed, directly avoided being swallowed by the black hole. But others are not so lucky, being swallowed by a black hole. All turned to dust, another fall, kill him now. He has the power to rip our hearts out. We must not allow him to have another chance to rip out someone else's heart. Get started, Nesujiro Sei said with a serious expression. It's over. 5 elders. Su Chen smiled, he gently snapped his right fingers. Boom 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 boom. The drum sound suddenly appeared. Pieces of clouds and air currents, in a moment, filled the entire space. The next moment, around Su Chen, countless figures appeared densely. What is going on? Is this the sound of the drum of liberation? It's that fruit, the devil fruit whose real name is hidden. Joey Boy. How is it possible? These hundreds and thousands of them are all Joy Boy. Jian Sheng looked shocked, he swallowed in disbelief. The smoke and dust slowly dissipated, fluffy with milky white color. Appeared around Su Chen. The number is more than a few thousand. Crowded. A conservative estimate is that there are tens of thousands. And the number is still rising. I'm dead. How come he's resurrected again, and I don't know why, but I feel so happy. Ace is dead, and Grandpa is dead too. Ha 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 ha. Countless Luffies laughed beside Su Chen. The atmosphere is extremely weird. Without exception, these Luffies are all in Gear 5 mode. Disappear, disappear, Joey Boy will never be allowed to appear on the sea again. I am the god of this space, even Joy Boy can't be my opponent. Nesujiro Sei took a step back, cold sweat has soaked his back. He swung his sword with all his strength. This sword energy is countless times stronger than before. Even space cannot withstand such terrifying power. Constantly breaking, die. Joey boy, Nasu Shoro-san shouted. But his attack had just been launched. It was swallowed by countless white smoke. Then disappeared without a trace. How is it possible? My attack can even tear apart space. Tens of thousands of Luffys with Gear 5th activated began to take action. The 5 elders didn't even have a chance to fight back. It was swallowed up by the sea of people. Ha 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 ha. The 5 elders had bruised faces and noses. Lying on the ground in a very miserable state. They have been defeated countless times by Luffy and Gear 5. How long has it been? A few minutes? How many hours? Or a few days? The 5 elders no longer remember. Su Chen, you didn't expect that, you can't kill me. With the power of Lord Yimu, we are the true masters of this space. No one can kill us unless we want to, Su Chen nodded. His expression was calm. I know, so I start from the beginning. I didn't intend to go through these methods, to kill you. Nasu Sholong Shane heard Su Chen's words. He was obviously stunned for a moment. Can be immediately. A loud rumble in the sky. It made him subconsciously look up at the sky. Just above the sky, it was as dark as if the world was about to end. Enveloping this little world, the will to destroy contained in it. Just a look. Just an eye contact. Nesujiro-sei felt like his brain was about to explode. Ah, my eyes are going to explode, Nesujiro-sensei wailed. Jialin Sheng standing aside had a solemn expression on his face. How could this happen? Just an eye contact would cause such consequences. To what extent has this will of destruction reached? Also, when exactly did this energy condense? Why didn't we notice it at all? Saint Peter looked up at the sky. The shock in his eyes could not be concealed at all. Did you find out? Su Chen smiled, also looking up at the sky. So that's how it is. Even silence can't cover up the power of thunder. No wonder you were able to find it. Jialin Sheng was trembling all over. Etc. Su Chen. We can discuss it, it's just a death of a celestial dragon. We can just pretend nothing happened. We, the 5 elders, can even restore you to your position as Marine Admiral. It's no problem to be the Marine Fleet Admiral or even the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Becoming the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces at such a young age is something many people wouldn't even dare to dream of. This is a good deal, just pretend nothing happened. Ma Zisheng's pupils were trembling. This is a terrifying energy that is enough to destroy a small world. How could they possibly bear it? The power given to them by Lord Yim is indeed enough to dominate this space. There is nothing wrong in allowing them to become gods who control this space. But the problem is, the power given to them by Lord Yimu is not infinite. Under huge energy consumption or extremely terrifying attacks, the energy will be consumed. Once the energy is exhausted, they will lose the powerful abilities given to them by Lord I Am. Turned back into just the noble 5 elders, at most, he possesses the power of a devil fruit that ordinary people cannot achieve. This is in Su Chen's eyes. Is it good enough? I'm afraid I don't even have the qualifications to be looked at. Besides, can they survive under Su Chen's terrifying thunder? That's another story. So even the 5 elders, he hated Su Chen to the core. They all had to be humble, started to make peace with Su Chen. Boom! Su Chen unlocked, silence, unparalleled terrifying energy. It instantly enveloped the entire space, a will that is enough to destroy everything. Filling every corner of this space, the hair on the 5 elders' bodies stood on end. Legs trembled. No more heirs, they are deeply aware. Su Chen, they are opponents they cannot defeat from the beginning. They have no qualifications to fight against Su Chen. Even Lord I Am. Maybe you don't even have the qualifications. From beginning to end, it's all just Su Chen's one-sided cat and mouse game. Su Chen, let us go, we can give you anything. Whatever you want, as long as you ask, we will help you get it. As long as you let us live, we will never appear on the Red Earth continent again. From now on, we can just live in this space. Su Chen, we were so wrong, please, let us go. It's all Im's idea. We are just pawns on his chessboard. The 5 elders wailed, begging Su Chen to let them go. Be humble, and the high and mighty one at the beginning. It forms a sharp contrast. Su Chen smiled, first time. Su Chen smiled so happily, he said to the 5 elders. Don't you know you're wrong? I knew I was going to die. After saying that, the 9-day thunder in the sky is erupting. The entire space, rendered in white, except Su Chen. In this space, there is no more. Chapter 136 Garp. Take good care of Momoshagi, and have a safe trip. I am, where? On the beach. Momosagi slowly opened her eyes. Looking at the unfamiliar beaches around me, there was a hint of confusion in her eyes. Fortunately, a familiar figure in the distance, it made Momosagi's eyes light up again. It's Su Chen's back, brother Su Chen, are you okay? Momosagi quickly got up from the ground, he ran quickly towards Su Chen. Su Chen heard what Momosagi said. I turned around and looked towards Momosagi Gion. There was a flash in his eyes. Momosagi has never seen a look before. Seems to be one. Homesickness, ding ding ding. System upgrade completed. The portal to Blue Star is ready, it can last for 10 seconds. Host, please pay attention to the current system level. Until the next upgrade is completed, the stored energy is only enough to open the portal once. Host, would you like to open the portal immediately? Currently, after the system upgrade, it is possible to return to the portal of the original real world. Can it only be opened once? That is to say, it is very likely that he will return from the pirate world this time. It means you can never come back. This is a one-way ticket home. Host, please rest assured. After you return to the real world, you can still complete the various travel check-in tasks issued by the system. The system can be upgraded as well, thus opening a portal to and from the pirate world. Su Chen heard the voice of the system. He immediately showed a look of realization. Fine, almost thought so, this time leaving the pirate world. It means goodbye to everyone forever. That doesn't seem to be the case. The system's voice sounded in Su Chen's ears. What is different from before is. Momosagi also heard the sound. What's going on? What is that noise? Momosagi looked at the void around him. There was a flash of surprise in his eyes. System? The real world. Portal? Brother Su Chen, are these sounds coming from your body? Su Chen shrugged. In the real world. But my family is waiting for me. Although during this period, with various characters in the One Piece world, it can be considered as establishing a bond, but there is a chance to go home. Su Chen will definitely not let it go. Now he was not going to hide Momosagi any longer. After all, who knows what will happen after returning to the real world? Such a terrible system task. The upgrade will be successful in the year of the monkey and the horse. Give yourself the chance to return to the world of One Piece next time. Decades later, I'm afraid Momosagi are all old ladies now. Sengoku and Garp. There is also Granny Crane who has recovered her original body. By that time, he would have probably passed away. In short, Su Chen prepares before leaving. Explain something. Momosagi's sister. Actually, there are things I've always wanted to tell you. Su Chen gave a relieved smile. He snapped his fingers with his right hand. Open black lens bracket eternal life close black lens bracket activates. Whitebeard, Luffy, Ace and others who were previously killed by the five elders appeared not far away, even the devil fruits that they originally came with. They all appeared nearby, but it seemed to be Su Chen's deliberate arrangement. They all fell into a coma. Actually, I'm not the original Su Chen at all. The guy with albinism who was picked up by Grandma Crane from the White Town. A few months ago, it has already traveled with me, and its soul is completely dead. Momosagi was shocked by what Su Chen said. Her little mouth opened slightly. I have absolutely no idea what to say. So, brother Su Chen, you are actually a soul traveling from another world. No wonder. Your strange abilities. Compared to other devil fruit users, the difference is too great. I should have thought of that earlier, but why are you telling me this at this time? Momosagi suddenly recalled, just now beside Su Chen. Those strange electronic sounds that appear out of thin air. Can't hear the mechanical sounds of boys and girls. That voice said, Su Chen can now return to the real world. That is to say, the world you live in. In fact, it is not the real world, but fiction. Is Su Chen ready to leave here now? Brother Su Chen, are you ready to leave? Momosagi Gion looked a little lonely. She bit her thin lips lightly with her silver teeth. The little hand subconsciously grabbed the corner of Su Chen's clothes. Like a little girl, I don't want Su Chen to leave. Seems to do so, it makes Momosagi feel more secure. I'm ready to leave, but he will probably come back. I just don't know when I will come back next time. So I want to tell you something, Su Chen said with a smile. He just tried using the phone bug. Call Fleet Admiral and Grandma He in the Warring States period. But I don't know if it was written by the five elders before their death. The phone bug has no signal at all. The warship was also destroyed. I want to leave Windmill Village in a short time. Return to Marine Headquarters, it's almost impossible. We can only wait for Marine Headquarters to come to Windmill Village for rescue. That's why Su Chen was ready to tell Momosagi. Let her tell Warring States and Granny He something. Su Chen, Momosagi Gion interrupted Su Chen. A flash of determination flashed in his eyes. It seemed like an instant. What decisions were made generally? What's wrong? Su Chen was confused, although I already had the opportunity to go home. But after all, there is no time limit, so Su Chen was not in a hurry. Can I go back with you? Momosagi gritted his teeth and said. She was extremely nervous. He was afraid that Su Chen would reject him. If you are willing, my family will not lack someone to eat for you. It should be fine if you eat it for a lifetime. Su Chen smiled. Momosagi's request was agreed. Very good. Momosagi hugged Su Chen directly. Her delicate body pressed tightly against Su Chen's body. I didn't want to let go for a long time, I see. Boy Su Chen, are you actually a being who traveled from other worlds? In this case, everything is understandable. No wonder there are so many incredible things happening to you. But are you really unwilling to stay in this world for a while? After all, I will always feel a little regretful if I don't meet Sengoku and Sururu. In front of Su Chen and Momosagi, Garp showed a look of realization. Su Chen explained a lot of things, even afraid of Garp forgetting. I dedicated several pages to it. Let Garp be handed over to Sengoku and others and Granny He. This isn't goodbye forever. If it's fast, it will take 1 year, and at the slowest, it won't be more than 20 years. Don't forget, I'm still Marine's general, Su Chen said. I no longer intend to say anything to Garp. He called for the system in his heart. A portal back to the real world was summoned, Brush Lala. Like Doctor Strange's portal. The space behind Su Chen and Momosagi. A door of light appeared out of thin air, faintly. Garp seems to be able to pass through this light gate. See the busy streets, is this the original world of Su Chen? It is indeed completely different from our world. Bon voyage, boy Su Chen. You must come back to see us before we old guys die of old age. Garp waved his hand. He knew it in his heart. It's time to say goodbye. Don't worry, even if you old guys are dead by then. I will also drag you out of hell to catch up on old times. Su Chen grabbed Momosagi's white and tender hand. Turn around and take a step forward. Disappeared in place. End of full text.